You'll find a Mets fan. Let's go. This is a Mets year. For all your Mets here, let's go. Bring it home. Bring it home. Bring it home
exciting, thrilling, awesome. Let's take a look.
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to Talking Mets with Rob and another live stream during a Mets game. Welcome to Mets PreGame Live. Before we get to anything, obviously the news about Gary Sanchez getting DFA because Tomas Nido has been reinstated from the IL. So Tomas Nido will be the backup catcher for Francisco Alvarez. So we are ready to go with Mets PreGame Live. And also, guys, if you watched the video prior to this live stream about Ronnie Mauricio and the report that came out earlier this morning on the Boomer and Geo show at WFAN, talking about exactly what we've been clamoring for is that Ronnie Mauricio, and the report is that they're going to call him up on Tuesday, which will be the first game of the homestand against the Phillies. So I am not shocked by that at all, to be honest with you guys, because as I said in the video, and you guys can check it out, I go a little bit more deeper into it. It's a fan reaction type of move that they're trying to do back in the homestand, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but they did it with Mark Vientos, and they're going to do it with Ronnie Mauricio, unfortunately. He should be in Chicago. He should have started up with the big club before the Chicago series, and unfortunately, that is not going to happen. I know there's some a little bit of issue with the comments right now on YouTube, so I'm not getting any of that right now. So if you just give me one moment, because I see the comment section is not working at the moment, which is very interesting, but just give me a second, guys, and I can see if I can figure it out, because that's kind of annoying if the chat is not working. Very interesting to see why it's not working. If you guys can type in the chat, let me just make sure that it's working. Let's see. Let's see if it's working a little bit. Alrighty, so I do see some comments. So once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button. Thank you for tuning in to Mets PreGame Live. And I do see that there is people in the chat, and the chat's working. Good to know. Thank God for that. Because I know for some reason the chat wouldn't allow me to click on it, and usually if I don't click on it, the chat doesn't work. But I guess it clicked on it, and we're good to go. So once again, guys, thank you for tuning into the pregame. Got about 15 minutes or so until first pitch, and the Mets are trying to salvage a series against the Chicago Cubs. They're 0-5 against the Cubs. The last final time, 3 times they played them back at Citi Field, and then twice at Wrigley this year. The Mets can't beat the Cubs, and Mauricio, I'm sorry about that. The Cubs have been a thorn in the Mets' side, and especially this year, the Mets are having problems with teams that are not that good, that are below 500, and that's been a problem this year with the Mets. If they go 500 against these bad teams, they're right up there with the Braves record right now. It's just that simple. The Mets have played well against good teams and actually bad against bad teams. And that's been the difference of 5.5 games that we're back in behind the Braves. So it sucks, but you know what? That's where the cards land. That's how it happens. That's the cards we've been dealt right now. We're 500 right now. We win tonight with Carlos Carrasco on the mound. We're 1 game over 500 heading to Colorado. So you can't get swept by the Cubs. I don't care. This is a game where everybody should be available in the bullpen. Everybody should be ready to go on the bench. Everybody and anybody. Anything you got to do to win the game. We talked about this after game 1 of the Rays series, after we lost that game. Like the game 2 of the series was a must win. These games are must win. All right. You can't get swept by the Cubs and expect the people to feel good about your team, especially with all the craziness that's been going on with Buck Showalter, all the craziness that's been going on with Billy Epler. And Met fans are not happy right now, right? We had that 5-game stretch, 5-game winning streak that everybody was a little bit happy about and excited about, saying, quote unquote, we're back. I think a lot of us believe that, to be honest with you, because, well, why not? And then they go to Chicago and they lay an egg the first 2 games. You can't play like that and expect people to not be pissed off about what's going on. And then, if the Mets, won the first 2 games, you wouldn't hear people clamoring for Ronnie Mauricio every second of every day and wouldn't be saying, play the kids every single day. It would be a little bit less of that. But because they're losing, guess what? You're going to hear a lot of that. And there's a lot of noise. And then to put on, put the topping on, put the topping on the cake and the cherry on top, guess what? Marcus Stroman had to be the one to shut the Mets down yesterday. He goes the longest innings pitched this year against the Mets, 8 innings. And it's just like, damn, like that's just the icing on the cake right there. That's just the cherry on top that Met fans already were boiling and fuming all over the place, fuming at the ears, smoke coming out of the ears. We're pissed off with Buck. Pissed off with Epler. The lineup hasn't shown much the last couple of days. And now we get Stroman shutting out the Mets lineup, and then he gets to walk off the field and do his antics that piss off people even more. And that is where we are right now with the New York Mets. The Mets better salvage the series. I don't care what they got to do. They got to do it. Muttley, I know people talked about the Monday off seemed to stop their momentum, but you're better than the Cubs. You can't lose games like this. Like, are we going to stop? Excuse? I mean, is it possible? Sure. Why not? It's possible. But you know what? These guys are professionals. There should be no reason why the momentum completely stopped. If you were playing the Braves, if you were playing, the Dodgers, teams, good teams in the league, I could see, all right, the momentum shifted a little bit. Fine. Because of the off day, but no. You're playing the Cubs, all right? The Mets have played well in Chicago. You can't come out flat like that. I'm sorry. I understand the pitchers didn't really give the Mets much of, Senga didn't really give Mets the much of a chance in game 1. Game 2, Senga kind of, stood alive in that game. But as the Mets shown this year, if they don't get a quality start, 6 innings, they have a hard time winning. And that's just a fact. It shows it in the stats. The Mets are 12-0 this year? 11, 12-0 when the Mets get 6 innings from their starter. That's not a coincidence, guys. Michael, no, look, I'm not. I don't like Stroman. I think he is a cancer. I don't like using that word, but a cancer in the dugout. I think he causes more problems than kind of just goes about his business. He is a me guy. I get that. And look, I don't have no problem with what he did after, the inning was over after the double play ball by Alvarez. I mean, he pitched a gem against us. I had no problem with that. And if you heard his comments after the game, you know what? I'm surprised he actually acted like an adult in that situation. I mean, yes, he had that tweet with the emoji with the quiet and all that stuff. I get that. I understand that. But you know what? He could have done a lot worse. And again, the Mets could have shut him up by beating him up, right? Besides the Alvarez and two-run homer, they didn't do nothing. So it's on the Mets, 100%. But at the same time, Rocky, that's wrong. The starting pitching doesn't have to throw shutouts. That is the problem. That there's a misconception with the Mets that the pitchers have to throw a shutout to win ball games, which is an absolute joke. You're wrong on that part. Go back, look, the Mets played 50 games already this year. Tell me how many times the Mets scored 5 runs or more. And you know what? They lost a lot of those games, by the way. All right, it wasn't in the last 2. I get that. But you don't get quality starts. You give your offense no chance. The offense, I don't care if it's the Braves lineup, the Dodgers lineup, the Rangers lineup. Doesn't matter. If you don't have quality pitching and you don't give your lineup a chance and you're always down by like the first or second inning, no lineup can always consistently come back every single time and consistently win ball games. And that is the problem that the Mets are in, right? This is not a different lineup run scoring wise than it was last year. They're on the same path when it comes to runs scored per game. The difference is the starting pitching has a 4-run ERA more than last year. The ERA for the starting pitchers last year were around a little bit over a 3. This year it's hovering around 7.5. You can't win like that. Yeah, Rocky, but the pitching never comes through. That's the problem. Look, tell me how many. We had 11 quality starts in 50 games. So the other, 39 games, we didn't get a quality start. How are you supposed to win games like that? It's almost impossible. When it's like you have one quality start, and then you have 4 games or 5 games that is not quality starts. Your lineup can't always come through like that. The consistency, listen, the lineup has to be better. Absolutely. But again, do you see the games that we're losing? Yesterday was all right. Was a closer game. All right, we didn't come back in that game. That was a low scoring game. But we're giving up 6 runs. We're giving up 7 runs, 8 runs a game. You're not winning. And with Senga, I'm not concerned about Senga too much. It's been not even 2 months of him transitioning to the major leagues. Go back to Ohtani, go back to Darvish, go back to Tanaka, their first year. They didn't, obviously those guys are on another level than Senga coming from Japan, right? Those are tier A guys and Senga's tier B. He was never hyped up as a guy like Darvish or Tanaka or Ohtani. If you thought that was the case, then you didn't do your homework or you didn't pay attention to what's going on. The problem with that is, with Senga is what I didn't like, and this might have been a Buck decision, a Hefner decision, a Senga decision, I don't know. But pitching McGill when Senga was supposed to start in game 1, it didn't make no sense because sooner or later you gotta start a rhythm with this rotation every 5th day. You can't have McGill thinking that he's gonna pitch on Wednesday and then he pitches on Tuesday. And I know they probably got a heads up with that, but it's unfortunate that you have to keep on changing your rotation. Now that quote unquote everybody's healthy except for Quintana, do it every 5th day. If Senga can't get adjusted to that, at some point you have to do every 5th day because it's not working, right? If you're gonna give Senga 6-7 days off and then pitch, he better throw 8 innings in 1-run ball. Because if you don't get that, why are you giving him more days? Yeah, exactly, Michael. Like, again, there was 12 starters, 12 games this year where the Mets went 6 innings or more. 12, and it's game 51 today. You're not winning ball. You're not. How the Mets are 500 is beyond me. Look at teams, and there's a lot of teams in Major League Baseball that starters that go 6 innings or more in the league, and these are teams that are 7, 8, 4, 10 games under 500. So a little bit of credit goes to the Mets that they're hovering around 500 with the disaster of a pitching staff that hasn't been given quality starts for at least half of those games. It's not even close. And that is the bigger problem. If you look around the league, the bad teams that are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games under 500 are a big reason is their starting pitching is doing what the Mets starting pitcher is doing, but the Mets are finding ways to win enough games to hover around 500 during that stretch. It's crazy to me. Ron, I'm not going to say that yet because you know what? The Phillies, the Padres, the Yankees, teams in the top 5 in money, in payroll. What have they won? Right? The Phillies were spending a hell of a lot more money than the Mets before Cohen. Their sequel is every year how many times they missed the playoffs. Look at the Yankees, right? Spending more money than everybody before the Mets. They weren't getting it done. Look, if you continue to worry about the money, then the Padres. See, here's the problem with with everybody when it comes to the money, right? You're so worried about the money can buy, the worst team money can buy. Well, the worst team could be a lot worse, honestly. For the majority of the year, you had 4/5 of your rotation out. That's it. And that's unfortunate, but the people that are here right now, right, that, people want the kids up, but if Marte doesn't get going, if McNeil doesn't hit 300, which he's not right now, if Canada doesn't step up, guys that were performing better than last year. But Ron, I don't see why you're embarrassed by it because of the fact that majority of that money is going towards the rotation. So over 115 to $20 million is going for this rotation. So technically, every other part of your payroll is $240 million. And again, are people talking about the Phillies or the Padres or the Yankees who always seem to, have people saying they're gonna go far, they're gonna contend, they're gonna win divisions, they're gonna win championships, and they continue to fail, and they were spending a lot more money than the Mets over the last 6 years. Yeah, Alan, I don't want to hear I would feel better with 500 with the kids. Losing is losing. If you care that the Mets are losing with veterans or kids, then that's a loser's mentality. How about just winning with whoever makes us win? If the veterans were making us win, we wouldn't care about the kids. If the kids are making us win, then great. We care about the kids and the hell with the veterans. The problem is a fluctuation of both is not working. And there's no guarantee that the kids, and I know what people are going to say, if Buck plays all the kids and the Mets continue to lose, at least we're losing with the kids. Really? That's going to be your comment? That's going to be your mentality? If that's your mentality, that is a loser's mentality, then you probably want the Will Pounds back. That is the problem. Alan, I understand. I understand the veterans are not doing it, but you know what? What has Beatty done over the last 3 weeks? He's been a shell of himself, right? Besides Alvarez, the kids haven't really done much. Not saying, look, Vientos only got 13 at-bats, so I'm not going to kill him. But Beatty has been, ever since he's been fifth in the lineup, he's batting under 200. That's a problem, right? Winning with veterans, winning with rookies, or winning with the kids doesn't matter to me. I just want to win. I don't want to hear, I'd rather lose with the kids. This is not Baltimore. This is not Kansas City. All right? This is not Pittsburgh. All right? Losing is losing. And that is the problem that I have when people talk about, I'd rather see, Vientos strike out 3 times than Vogelback. No, because if one of them are in the lineup instead of the other, and all two of them strike out 3 times. So you're not going to criticize Vientos for striking out 3 times, but we'll kill Vogelback. It doesn't work that way, right? Criticize guys that are not getting it done, right? Brett Beatty, I'm not calling you a rookie anymore. You had a little bit of a taste of Major League Baseball last year. Alvarez, same thing. Vientos, same thing. Step it up. You're professional ball players. You're getting paid money to play. Step it up. If you can't perform, you're going to get sent back down. It's plain and simple. And I said this over and over again. This team is not selling at the deadline. If the prospects don't perform, I don't think Beatty or Alvarez are going to get sent down. But if Vientos, when he gets his starts, doesn't perform, he's going to get sent down. There's going to be a veteran to replace him. The same thing that goes for any of the rookies. If they go through a month stretch where they're not hitting or they're not playing well, they're going to get replaced by veterans. And I said that prior to these kids coming up. Mike, I'm blaming everybody. I'm blaming the players for not getting it done. I'm blaming Buck for the roster construction, for the lineup construction, and certain moves that he makes during the game. Right? Epler, we can talk about Epler until the cows come home. We're wasting our time at Epler because he's not getting fired until the decision of Ohtani is made either for the Mets or against the Mets. It's just that simple. So let me get through the lineup really quickly, guys. So the game starts really quick. And, of course, it'll be scrolling at the bottom of your screen. So the New York Mets will have Brendan Nimmo leading off, playing center field. Francisco Lindor batting second, playing shortstop. Jeff McNeil batting third base, playing second base. Cleaning up is Pete Alonso playing first base. Brett Beatty batting fifth, playing third base. Starlin Marte batting sixth, playing right field. Daniel Vogelback batting seventh, DHing. I know that's a crowd pleaser that Buck just wants to throw in everybody's face. Batting seven. Mark Canha batting eight, playing left field. And, of course, Francisco Alvarez catching and batting ninth. So the New York Mets are looking to salvage at least one game from the Chicago Cubs. And I think they're going to do it tonight. I put some money on the Mets, a couple of other parlays connected together in this game. So, hey, let's get that W for our Mets. And let's make a little bit of money. So with that said, guys, hit on that like button. Let's get more people in the stream. Brandon Nimmo leading off. Here we go, guys. Mets-Cubs game 3. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you can hear it. Give me a second. Let me just change it over.
3 for 8 in this series. Had an 0 from last night after 3 hits on Tuesday night. And had a rough go of it against Marcus Stroman, who really held the Mets in check.
Well, Marcus held a lot of guys in check last night. That was the best I saw Stroman pitch, even as a Metropolitan.
16 ground ball lines for Stroman last night. Now another ground ball pitcher on the mound in Hendricks.
And that is a base hit up the middle by Nimmo. There we go. Good start.
Well, he's always been a soft tossing sinker baller, Gary, with a funky delivery. And there's not much of a sink on that ball. Brandon stays back nicely. I mean, Stroman last night had so much movement on his sinker. Got the lefties to roll over.
Alan, that'd be nice, right? When the Mets score first, they have a great record.
11 months with a capsule strain in his shoulder. Didn't have surgery.
So there's Kyle Hendricks' first game back and first start of the season. So the Mets need to jump on him.
Trying to prevent that injury from recurring, the Cubs have worked with Hendricks to change his arm action, which seems like a drastic thing to do at this point in his career.
Lindor pops it up to left center and it's 1 out.
And here's Sloan Kettering, Cancer Center Memorial Sloan Kettering, Cancer Center defense for the Cubbies. Gomes back behind the plate. Patrick Wisdom back at third base. Same trio out there in the outfield. Have, of course, a Gold Glover last season.
Can you guys hear it? Let me know in the comments, guys.
Looking for his first hit in this series. Got 0 for 5. Takes a fastball low and inside for ball 1. About 281 for the year, has a homer and 3 career at-bats against Hendricks. So Hendricks was always a guy who threw his arm straight back towards second base, and now he's really changed the way he takes his arm back in his delivery.
He's almost throwing like a short arm in like a catcher here. And what I mean there is throwing from the ear. See how he brings it up? He used to be. You wonder if this is going to be effective for him.
I guess time will tell.
All right, ball 3 to McNeil.
Starts this year. The most recent one on Saturday last week. He went 6 innings through 82 pitches. He's been effective in his rehab starts, but now back in the big leagues, and we'll see how it plays.
It's always been a part of his deception, that motion of his.
He's never walked many. He's always had great command of both of his fastballs, his four-seamer and his two-seamer.
Come on, Jeff.
A lot of changeups, makes it a curveball. And he's been a very successful pitcher for a long time. Neal turns one foul, and it's 3-2.
You see, he's going to pitch in. Can't live on the outside corner against the left-handers. You know, as far as soft tossing sinker bowler, I was never adverse, Gary. If I was having difficulty, it was that good a sinker to move up to the plate or move closer to the plate.
Nimmo at first with one out, 3-2 to McNeil. Nimmo goes, and McNeil takes.
All right, Nimmo was running on the pitch, and McNeil gets a walk. So the Mets have first and second with one out, and Pete Alonso coming up. Here we go. Come on. Get those first inning runs that we can't get this season. That'd be nice.
He's averaged 2 walks per 9 innings, so 2 walks per start per career. That's
Come on, Pete.
Mets have scored 10 first-inning runs in their first 50 games this year. They've got an opportunity in the first inning again tonight. Pete Alonso lays off the sinker, and it's ball 1.
Well, he's not going to get that strike. He's going to get a lot of trouble. That's Roberto Ortiz behind the plate.
18 home runs lead the majors. His 43 RBIs lead the National League. Homered in the opening game of this series Tuesday night. He fouls away that sinker when it's 1-1.
What's up, Joe?
Okay, he hasn't pitched in such a long time, about a year and a half, only 16 starts last year. I've seen a little inconsistency in his sinker, and I can see his reaction. He knows when he throws one doesn't sink. He kind of.
Come on, Pete.
He gets a swinging strike.
It was a little bit of a little cutter there.
It's his changeup.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Nimmo at second, McNeil at first with one out. And Alonso lays off that changeup, and it's 2-2. Hendricks is now 33 years old. Grew up in California, but took a trip across the country to go to Dartmouth. Drafted by Texas, traded to Chicago. That's line down left field line and foul.
He was an 8th-round pick here by the Rangers back in 2011. Was traded over to the Cubs. And has been
Come on, Pete.
Major League career in the Cub uniform.
Traded for Ryan Dempster, who we saw the other night doing color on the radio. Dempster long since retired, and Hendricks has been a mainstay for the Cubs for a long time. But his best year in their championship year in 2016 was third in the Cy Young that year.
He takes it inside, ball 3. All right, so we're making him work.
16-8 with a 2.1 rate.
You hate. I'm always reluctant runners on first and second, so to just send the runners. You just take yourself out of the game. You've already got a runner in scoring position. I would hold them here. We'll see.
Brett Beatty on deck, not going, and he takes that outside.
And ball 4, just low on the outside corner. And when Pete Alonso walks, and the Mets have bases loaded with one out, with one of the kids, Brett Beatty, coming up. Big spot for Beatty. Beatty has been struggling. I think Beatty is 5 for his last 26. So let's see if Beatty can come through here. Damn, at this point, I'll take a sac fly. Jeez. And Beatty hits a shot to center. That is going to get Nimmo home, and the Mets take a 1-0 lead and get a run in the first. But a sac fly by Brett Beatty. So a productive out for Brett Beatty. 1-0 Mets in the top of the first. There you go.
scrubby it was.
It's blowing in at 17 miles per hour, 52 degrees. Right down to the
At this point, the way the Mets have been not scoring in the first, you'll take it. Guys played a lottery. The Mets scored in the first inning. Let's see if Martin can get a 2-out RBI here. He's been struggling.
Marte 0 for 6 in this series. He's had the most experience hitting against Hendricks from his days in the NL Central with the Pirates. 6 hits and 26 at bats against Hendricks. Mets haven't had much luck at all against Hendricks. 5 career regular season starts. He's 4-0 with a 2.1. They got him for a couple of runs in the National League Championship Series in which Game 3 here at Wrigley Field gave up a Daniel Murphy home run who didn't in that postseason.
Oh, Stalin, it's a good pitch to hit here. 2-0. Round ball right to third, and the runner is out at third, and the Mets only get 1 run, but more than they actually do get. Andrew, you bring good content here. It's great. All right. So the Mets get 1 run in the top of the first. I'm assuming Andrew's a Brave fan, probably. But the Mets score 1 run in the first. A hell of a lot more that day. So 11 runs in the first inning this year in the first 51 games of the year. So at least they get 1, I guess. But it's a good start. When the Mets score first, they usually have a good chance of winning. That's been the stats, and that's been the record for them. So let's see if it keeps on going. Yeah, well, you know what? If it was 0 runs, it would be even more pathetic, right? Porsche, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Yes, Cesar, at this point, can we really be greedy? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it would be nice if you get an actual, a pitching performance, that's actually worth actually calling it a pitching performance. I mean, we got the, the star athlete in Carlos Carrasco with his 9 ERA. So once again, guys, the Mets score 1 run in the top of the first off of Kyle Hendricks. And going to the bottom of the first, Cubs are coming up with Carlos Carrasco on the mound. I mean, my God, is it actually possible? Can Carlos Carrasco actually pitch a decent game? I'm not talking about, give me 8 shutout innings here, but Jesus. Well, Ethan, it's been a trend with the Mets pitching, not even just Carrasco, like the whole rotation, no matter who pitched. They seem like they give runs right back when the Mets score. So here we go, Carrasco on the mound with his 8.68 ERA in 4 starts. All right, guys, let's see what Carrasco can do.
Frost. Nico Horner homered through the wind last night. His 3rd home run of the year.
All right, so they're already having problems with pitch com.
Immediately for Francisco Alvarez. Gives us a chance to tell you that the Mets activated Tomas Nido off the injured list today, coming back from the eye problem that had plagued him. And Gary Sanchez was designated for assignment, so Sanchez got to start 2 games, and that's the end of that experiment. We'll see whether he would accept another minor league assignment. But meanwhile, Alvarez is going to get the bulk of the playing time. Also, Omar Narvaez is starting his rehab assignment tonight for Brooklyn. And he is probably going to be available to come off the injured list when he's eligible, which is less than 2 weeks. So the catching situation continues.
Yeah, Joe, I'm very upset. I was almost going to buy a Gary Sanchez jersey, but, So, okay, the pitch counts. The pitch com is just not working, and of course, Carrasco has to sit on the mound and do nothing. So, Jesus Christ. All right, so no pitch com. All right, imagine that.
Oh, there's the Mets defense. Sorry, I was looking out at the Lake Michigan. I'm sorry. The 3rd.
So the first pitch ain't even happy yet for Carrasco because pitch com was just a disaster. So they're going to signs. How about that? Wow, guys, you're actually going to see signs. Amazing. They only did it for 100 years.
Picks out the
short sleeve.
That's all we can hope for, Aiden. All we can hope for.
Late afternoon right now, early evening.
Warner pulls one just foul.
Foul ball.
Carrasco's first changeup. And it's 1-2. Jasmine
No,
Swanson
stays
led
at
back
114.
day and half for the Cubs. Who came off a 2-7 road trip to Minnesota, Houston, and Philly. And they've responded by winning the first 2 games of their homestand.
Ground ball right to Beatty.
Beatty makes the long throw on a
And
high.
decent throw by Beatty to get the first batter of the game. Mike, you know, that was actually
Plays the long pop.
media would have been a good one.
A little bit of a shove in Beatty's delivery. And it did nicely, did at least the long
Well, Josh Tolley actually caught a no-hitter, so Josh Tolley wasn't lazy behind the plate.
With a couple of runs driven in. We're going to see a shove.
It kind of comes over the top and doesn't throw through the ball. Just kind of comes underneath. And I've noticed that of late.
nice pitch.
With a big cut at the split change from Carrasco on its own.
If he can keep that split change knee or down, that's a good pitch for Carrasco that he usually doesn't have.
Games in his life here in Wrigley, and he's won both. It's to a 2.25 ERA. He did not get to pitch for Cleveland in the World Series when they faced the Cubs in 2016. He had suffered a broken hand that September, hit by an Ian Kinsler line drive, and missed the entire postseason. It was quite a World Series that the Cubs and Indians had. All the way down to Game 7, Rajay Davis hitting on the run to tie it.
Can you imagine
Everything
the whole,
regular.
can you imagine playing the whole year and being hurt in September when you can't play postseason?
Half swing and the ball.
All right, ball 3.
Outside, it's 3-2. I'm sure it was a great disappointment for Carrasco. I'd like to get back to another one.
Yes, sir.
3-2 to Swanson with Happ on deck.
Uh-oh, that's gone.
Deep to left center. Back goes Nibble near the wall. That's out here.
Well, tie game.
Swanson hits one through the wind.
Dansby Swanson.
Home run of the year.
Well,
And the Cubs
he
tie
had him 1-2. Got to a full count and, well, challenged him.
playing his best pitching style. That is 70 home runs the Mets have given up this year, the most of any team in the National League.
Home run has killed.
When fastball middle in.
Completely missed the location there.
I don't know if you
Right over the plate.
heard it at home, folks, but I certainly heard it. He really clocked this, but boy, with this win, it's tough to get it out of here.
So 2 guys hit him out in that direction last night, Alvarez and Horner, and now Swanson as well. Some of the Cubs people were telling me that when the wind is blowing in, the place to hit the ball is exactly where that home run went, because the big scoreboard in left center, which is relatively new to Wrigley Field, blocks a lot of the wind.
Oh, that is a good point there.
1-2 to Ian Happ. Takes one below the news to change up 1-2.
And the pitch is up, and you can see the target was outside the corner. And
Well, that is funny. You're talking about wind. That left center field scoreboard actually blocks that part of the wind in left center, which is interesting. All right, nice play by Marte. 2 outs. Allen, he actually threw that pitch 94 miles an hour. But again, you throw it right over the plate, that's going out.
Carlos Carrasco's first inning woes have been long-standing since joining the Mets. That's his ERA in the first inning, and even 8. Persisted for the first half of last year, got much better in the second half of last year.
Come on, Carlos.
First inning.
Jesus.
But it's cropped up again in his first 5 starts this year. So Suzuki takes a slider for a strike. Suzuki 2 for 7 in this series with a double on a home run. It's been red hot. He would have had a home run last night, but for the win.
Exactly what I said,
Off the
Hayden.
ivy in left field.
the same must-win today that there was when the Mets lost the first game to the Rays at home, and they had game 2 was a must-win. Got to be careful here with Suzuki. Keep him away. Chop the ball. McNeil should. Oh, bad throw by McNeil. Well, can't give your pitcher some.
You know, the first game in the series, a lot of high chops. I think he just kind of slung it over there.
Yeah, that was.
And I think Suzuki was going to beat it out.
That's going to be an infield
Well,
hit for Suzuki.
You know, Carrasco should be out of the inning. That was a bad throw by McNeil.
Mike Tauchman. It's a nice series filling in for the injured Cody Bellinger. Tauchman, the former Yankees, got 3 for 7 in the first 2 games. He hit the ball especially well to left.
Well, Jimmy, that's not a funny comment. I mean, come on. You can't afford to lose another game. Of course you can. It's baseball. You're going to win 60 and lose 60. Ground ball right to McNeil, and it does in the inning this time. And Carrasco gives that 1-0 lead. Only a half an inning. That was basically it. And he gave up a home run to Swanson. And the game is tied going to the top of the second. Yeah, Joe, again, we can blame whoever we want to blame. It's on everybody. Like, it's Epler not doing his job. It's Buck not doing his job. It's the players who, let's be honest, McNeil's hitting under 300, which you expect McNeil to hit 300. I know he's batting 280, maybe 278 now after he didn't do anything in the first inning. But it's everybody, right? Marte's batting 60 points lower than his career average with barely any power, right? You know, Canna, Lindor's averaged 30 points from his career average. It's everybody. You know, even Pete Alonso, even though he's been hitting home runs, his average is what, 230 right now? You know, give me 250, 260. You know, people who don't want to bring up average it just doesn't make sense to me, because what average shows me is at the very least you're putting the bat on the ball. If your average goes up, that means you're at least putting the bat on the ball, and it gives you an opportunity to make the defense make mistakes. It might find a hole even if you don't hit it that hard. Well, Mike, that is true, but didn't the Nationals, the Braves, and the Phillies over the last 3 out of the 4 years have basically the same record, if not worse? They were saying the same thing. Alan, I used to be a bowler too. Unfortunately, I can't do that no more. But you know what? Again, you know what? You can find a lot of reasons why the Mets aren't playing to their level, and you can actually come up with a reason why they're at 500 right now. And honestly, I'm shocked they're at 500 right now. As bad as they played, giving up the most home runs in the league, pitchers only 12 starts this year that your pitcher gone 6 innings or more, you should be 10 games over 500. Because if you look around the league, if you have those two stats, you should be around a lot of the league. So here is everybody's favorite, Daniel Vogelbach at the plate. 1-1 tie game in the top of the second.
Obviously, behind his back, really.
It's a much longer extension behind him, so his arm has further to come. He's also wrapping the ball.
Well, Hayden, we talked about this on the Shade Bridge show a couple of times. I think it's Buck and Epler not being on the same page. I think Epler's forcing it down his throat, and I think Buck says, here, well, I'm going to keep on throwing him out there, and you're going to see how bad he is. Honestly, I don't know whose decision it is, but they're clearly not on the same page, and that's a problem.
Vogelbach has had success off of Hendricks, 5 for 11 in his career.
It's 2-2. You know, it's interesting. You look at the lineup the Mets posted today. Buck Showalter went with the same 9 in the same order that ran out there yesterday when the Mets had 2 runs and 4 hits. And I think it's interesting what's happening right now with this team. It's strike 3 call.
Strike 3 looking for Vogelbach.
It's called strikes. At some point, the Mets are going to want to call up Ronnie Mauricio.
Yes.
In order to call up Ronnie Mauricio, veteran hitter they're going to let go, right? And so you've got a bunch of guys. You got Vogelback, you got Canada, you got Escobar.
I agree.
Bam, all of whom.
Look, I don't agree with Buck on everything, but I swear to God, I do think Buck is playing this mind game with Epler. He's like, hey, you traded for him. You wanted him here. You told me this guy was going to provide the power we needed. And I think he's honestly doing that. Oh, Buck's screaming at the umpire right now with the strike zone.
How do you get Mauricio here? How do you find playing time for Vientos? It's an interesting dynamic right now.
And Canada strikes out on 3 pitches, 2 outs.
And we're 50 games into the season. It's a long season. We're not even at Memorial Day. The Mets are treading water right now, 25 and 25, and they want to have their best ball club for the latter portion of the season for the pennant race. And
I agree, Andre.
To try to figure out what that is.
Well, I've always said, it's a little bit different because June 15th used to be the deadline. Now it's another month, a little over a month further.
All right, Alvarez is up with 2 down.
I always felt that Memorial Day weekend was always a good barometer on a team if they're going to make a change. By saying that, I mean, you've given the players that are out there, you started with plenty of games. The Mets are over 50 games in now. So money is also an issue, Garrett. I don't know if it's an issue with this ownership.
Alvarez pops it up, not in that wind. Should end the inning, and it does. So the Mets go 1-2-3 in the top of the second. Bottom of the second coming up, tie score. Yeah, Boliqua, I don't think Beltran's not getting a manager position for the Mets anymore. I tell you that right now. And again, they're not firing Buck. I'm telling you that right now. Oh, unless they end up under 500 and not make the playoffs. So again, I don't, and again, do you really want to go with a rookie manager? I don't care how much Beltran as a player, that always doesn't work out. And again, I'm all for going a little bit younger, somebody who, I think the managers are so overrated at this point in baseball now that I think it's more about the players than it ever has been. The managers don't have to double switch anymore. Don't have to pinch it for the pitcher anymore. Especially when the National League didn't have a DH. Yeah, Steven, but you know what? I agree. It would have been nice, but again, after that whole Houston National scandal and Beltran was obviously a part of it, the Mets had no choice at that point. The Mets could have said, FMLB, but then the Mets would have got probably fined, and there was some talk that the Mets could have lost a draft pick if they kept Beltran on. So there was a lot to go into that. So I see why the Mets did it, and obviously that was still during the, bordering the Steve Cohen, Wilpon era. So Lendo, we're not beating anybody. All right, the Mets have to win a ball game here. All right, you don't need to put people on base with Carlos Carrasco on the mound. So they're talking about Ronnie Mauricio, 345 average, 7 home runs, 33 RBIs, and of course he's just 962 OPS. He's killing it in almost 50 games in AAA.
There's an outfielder. The question is, how do you make space for him on this veteran-laden roster?
Yeah, but the problem with what you just said, LFR, Alex Cora, world champion. Hinch, world champion. Beltran, no resume. That's the problem. If Beltran has a resume as a manager and a good resume, he'd probably be managing somebody right now. All right, that's a pop-up. The wind's going to be blowing it everywhere. It should be Pete Alonso's ball, and it is 1 out.
Well, the one caveat that they still are working on.
Well, Andre, maybe.
Let's get back to how you.
But you know what? Vogelback has been getting more playing time than those guys, than Vientos. So there's no excuse. Are we sure Beltran can do that? We don't know that.
I don't know if that's an issue as to who's
I mean, he barely handled it as a player. He performed on the field, but he barely handled it as a player. We don't know that. You know, when every decision is scrutinized every single day, pre and post game, we don't know that.
The front office are trying to figure that out. Like, who are you better off keeping, and which player gets tossed over? Well, it's not easy because you're talking about veteran players.
So I feel that, you mentioned Vogelback has been really the only left-hand hitter. Escobar, after his bad start, he was kind of put in the sideline. He's been coming back. Vogelback has been the left-handed DH. Pham and Pena have had to share because they're both right-hand hitters. So you've got two guys that are right-handed under bench.
And nice pitch by Carrasco, strike out,
Right there.
2 outs.
It's a
Mike, I agree with you. But around the league, Buck is still respected around the league because he does change teams for the better. Now, he doesn't manage them when they do great things.
I mean,
Maybe if he had the Yankees and if he had the Diamondbacks, he might have won. But we don't know that because he wasn't a part of them. Popped it up, might get out of the inning here. 1-2-3. And Alonso catches it in foul territory. And Carrasco has a nice 1-2-3 top, bottom of the second. So Mets coming back up in the top of the third, tie score 1-1. Well, yeah, I saw Ronnie. Me and Hayden were at spring training seeing Ronnie Mauricio, and he's built. Well, he's not that built yet like Yordan Alvarez, but he's. I mean, not even 2 years ago, he was a skinny guy, and last year you see him bulked up, and he's getting bigger and stronger, and he's having a body type like Yordan Alvarez. Not saying he's going to be Yordan Alvarez offensively, but his body's looking a lot like that. So it would be interesting. Yeah. See, the thing is that he still has he lowered his strikeouts a lot this year, but he still has a problem striking out a lot. And if you're striking out at the AAA level at the rate he is, you're probably going to strike out a lot at the major league level. It's just a big difference. So I don't know if that's the reason why they're holding him off a little bit longer. I don't know. So I don't know. That's something that they're keeping internal. We don't know. Well, Jimmy, he should be up. But again, if he's showing signs of plate discipline and striking out a ton, even though it's less than last year, and he's still striking out at like a 20% clip. And last year, he was like around 30%. That's better. But if you're striking out a ton still in the minor leagues, in AAA, I mean, you would think in Major League Baseball you're going to strike out a little bit more. But everybody strikes out a lot. So we'll see. So top of the third, 1-1, Nimmo leading off.
324-7 confidential support text MLB to 741-741. Ready to go off for the second time. Around the curveball from Kyle Hendricks, 0-1. Nimmo singled and scored the Mets run. He had the first time.
Well, he asked for help on that, so he wasn't going to call that a strike. It was on the outside corner. Ortiz has a very tight strike zone.
Nimmo hits one foul.
So we're talking about, roster management for the Mets going forward. And I guess the question is, when you have a four-man bench, how important is versatility? Like, you mentioned Vogelback's a left-hand hitter, Escobar's a switch hitter, Pham and Canner are both right-hand hitters. How much do you take into account what the different skills that the various players bring to the table?
Well, I think the game is changed. We've seen versatility is a very important part of managing and how they put general managers build their team, formulate their team. Obviously,
and Nimmo strikes out, 1 out.
Escobar provides speed. He's a good defender.
Yeah, but you know what? Let's not compare one player to another player. Just because Alvarez figured it out with plate discipline doesn't mean Mauricio will. I think we got to stop comparing players when it comes to, Alvarez did it, so Mauricio should. That's not always the case.
has gotten on base.
Yes.
And, other than Nimmo, Oliv's got the highest on base percentage of the team. And he hasn't hit for power yet, but he has the capability of doing that. So that's got to come into play, too. So I guess the bottom line is it's not an easy answer. And I think that's why Buck is playing these guys right now.
Wow. This umpire is calling everything on the outside corner that's like 3 or 4 inches outside. He's calling it for Carrasco's 2 and Hendricks, so he's consistent, but they're not strikes.
I think the Entos will benefit from that in the long term once the Mets make a decision.
Lindor pops it up. This might be trouble, and the third baseman got it 2 outs.
You know what I mean? I mean, once they make that decision, if Mauricio becomes the second baseman and McNeil becomes an outfielder, it might actually free up playing time for Vientos.
You said the team's kind of floundering and stops and starts. They're at 500 here, almost at the Memorial Day weekend.
Well, committee, that's a good point because Beltran has been down prior to Vientos coming up and Mauricio potentially coming up. Clearly Epler trusts Beltran in his decision. So there might be a reason why Mauricio is not up. Beltran's telling him something.
It's not good for him to be sitting.
But he hasn't been here that long.
Of course.
So
What we saw
That outside corner for the umpire is calling everything for both sides.
Spring training, all of them did. Wonderful.
Mauricio has continued that into the regular season, even in the cold weather up in Syracuse.
They're just nice problems to have. I mean, to have a wealth of talent on the AAA level. I mean, 4 players. I mean, how many organizations can claim on their AAA roster that they have 4 guys with the potential to be future stars?
No question. 1-2 to McNeil. And he flicks
Right in as a 2-out base hit for Jeff McNeil to get Alonso up at 2 outs.
But I will say this: one of Billy Epler's mantras from the beginning of this last offseason,
I think he has 7 errors in about 20 games at second base, if I'm not mistaken. That's the other issue as well.
Like they decided today on Sanchez, right? They brought him in. Vito came back. Sanchez is DFA. Of course, it's a lot easier to do that with players.
Go on, Pete.
2 days than it is guys who've been here for a lot longer. Because Alonso walked his first time up and takes outside for ball 1.
Yeah, Jimmy, that's another stupid comment because if they're both getting out, who cares who's at the plate? Doesn't matter.
Against Hendricks, who settled in, retired 7 in a row after giving up a run in the first. He comes inside with a fastball and gets the call, and it's 1-1. Phillies and Braves are tied 3-3 in the third. Mustard Riley delivered the first blowout at Bowman a 2-run homer. Braves have some pitching problems right now. They start Dylan Dodd tonight. Bryce Elder's done a great job filling in for them. They've still got some holes.
And Strider hasn't really got to the great start.
Yeah, you know what, Hayden, though? Yeah, he's calling everything on the inside-outside corner, like 2 or 3 inches off the plate. But if he's calling it for both sides, I don't care. They're not strikes, but if he calls it for both sides, I don't care. Pete, that's a hanger right down the middle.
He's got a good one. He was right down the pipe, folks.
I agree, Jimmy, but if they're both getting out, who cares?
It's just a change of pace.
I don't care about the name on the back. If you're getting out, you're getting out. It doesn't really matter.
Soroka hasn't pitched in 3 years at the big league level with 2 separate Achilles injuries, but he was a budding star when he got hurt. Got up there by Alonso.
Right back inside it. See, 88-mile-an-hour fastball, folks, and he's pitching inside the peak. Okay, you don't have to throw, all you kids out there, you don't have to throw it through a brick wall. Location.
Real estate. 2-2 from Hendricks. And Alonso floats that one behind shortstop.
And that one's going to fall in. So the Mets get back-to-back blue hits by McNeil and Alonso. And Brett Beatty's coming up again with 2 outs. Oh, excuse me. Brett Beatty's coming up with runners on again. Well, see, Jimmy, that's I agree with you. We need productive outs. I think that's been a big problem this year. But again, that doesn't mean that Ronnie Mauricio is going to do that. Again, we just hope, pray, and pray that that's going to happen. We don't know that.
So 2 out and 2 on, and now Brett Beatty drove the Mets run with a sacrifice fly in the first inning. Got Gold out to talk to Edwards before they work on Beatty.
All right, so the catcher is went out to the pitcher's mound.
Split time behind the plate with Tucker Barnhart.
Nice little 2-out RBI would be nice here. Beatty has the first RBI of the game for the Mets with a sac fly to center.
They're 5-18. Put much stock in that?
Yeah.
Beatty takes the first pitch, change up for a strike. We have those early evening shadows with the double-deck stadium.
Well, it's hot. He's giving it for both pitchers, so I'm not going to kill the umpire on that front. As long as he's calling it for both sides, I don't care.
So really, Hendricks' main secondary pitch has been the changeup, and he's sprinkling in his cutter, slider mixture, and a little bit of curve.
Fastball there, but fouled it back, and it's 1-2.
Come on, Brett.
Get it in. Keep an eye out for home, folks. Gomes sets up inside. He's calling very aggressively in, and you can see him shift in. And then you can decide for yourself whether the pitcher got that pitch in or not. He did not get that one in.
Neal at second, Lonzo at first with 2 down. 1-2 coming to Beatty.
Well, that's a base hit. Is he going to score from second? And McNeil is going to score. And, the ball gets away. I know. All right, there we go. 2 RBI by Brett Beatty. 2 RBIs on the night for Brett Beatty. And Pete Alonso goes to third. Brett Beatty got both RBIs of the game so far. There we go. That's what I want to see from Beatty right there. Run producing. Not hit hard, but right between the first and second baseman. Good base running by Pete Alonso getting the third. And McNeil with a good jump from second after the ball was hit to score from second. 2-1 Mets. Good job. 2-out RBIs. They're always killer. See if Marte can drive in 2 more with 2 men in scoring position.
He's always thinking an extra
Good secondary lead by Pete Alonso to get the third.
For a big man, when he gets rolling, he's not slow. He's not a truck horse.
Not sure why they didn't slide. Because Joey Cora was telling him to slide. And he also, though, was very smart not to break to the plate because even though that ball got away, it's such a short distance from third base to that dugout fence. And Wisdom was going to be on it quickly and probably could have thrown Pete out of the plate had he tried.
Suzuki's supposed to have a cannon, and that ball he threw third really sunk and ran away from the third base and up the left field line.
To the Marte. Reaches
That's a base hit by Marte. 1 run scores. Beatty's coming home. And he's safe. 2-run RBI. 2 RBI single for Starling Marte is 4-1 Mets. 3 2-out RBIs by our Mets. Who is this team? There we go. Good job. Good piece of hit by Marte with 2 strikes. Didn't do too much. Hit it right where the ball was pitched. Right between first and second. Again. 4-1 Mets in the top of the third. 2-out RBIs. Man, the Mets have needed those RBIs, man. Another good base running by a Mets runner. Great secondary lead off of second. And Beatty was hustling around third. And there was not even close at the plate. 4-1 Mets. There we go.
Suzuki's throwing error.
Who says you need to hit home runs?
Enables the Mets to get an extra run. This is the way the Mets so often put together rallies last year. Just moving the line.
Good job.
Vogelback with Marte at first.
Can Vogelback actually be a part of the party here? Or will he take 3 strikes in a row?
Marte has 45 stolen bases in his career against the Cubs. That's the most by any player currently active against any single opponent. There goes Marte.
Marte running, and he gets a stolen base. Here we go. I bet nobody thought that Marte had 14 stolen bases on the season.
Keep reading that Marte's speed is down. You can't tell from the way he runs between first and second.
All right, another runner in scoring position here.
He can still run. He hasn't lost.
Allen, that's all we can hope for.
He has, but I don't know what the metrics are necessarily based on.
That outside pitch 3 inches off the plate, a call the strike every time.
But every time he goes to steal the base, it looks like he's in full gear. 14 steals. He started the day 5th in the National League in steals. Vogelbach got called out looking his first time up. This time tries to hold on a change up down. He went around. He's 1-2. Vogelbach 0 for 6 in this series, 1 for his last 18.
Yeah, if he's batting 30 points more, he'd be on base a lot more. You have about 25 steals already.
Marte in second with 2 out, 3 runs home in the inning.
And Vogelbach looks at another cold dodge strike, and the Mets are done in the top of the third, but not before 3 runs are put on the board. Another RBI by Brett Beatty, got 2 on the day, and Starlin Marte came through with a 2 RBI single to give the Mets a 4-1 lead. Now let's see if Carlos Carrasco can hold it up. The biggest thing that the Mets pitchers have had a problem with all year was when their team scored, you always want to see zeros the following half inning from your pitcher. Let's just hope that Carlos Carrasco can do that, because that's more important than anything right now. You got 9-1-2 for the Cubs. Let's get it together and let Carlos Carrasco, let's get out of this inning quick. You want to get out of an inning quick when your team just scored. You want to get that offense right back into this batter's box. Well, Hayden, I don't know if you checked out the video prior to what I did and to the live stream. I don't see why they're not doing it. And we talked about this. Billy Epler and Buck Showalter, I don't think are on the same page. And, I think Buck is honestly I swear to God, I think Buck, and I'm not trying to give any credit to Buck at all, but I think Buck is throwing Vogelbach in Epler's face every single time. I believe that 100%, because Buck Showalter, he had times where I didn't like his managerial decisions sometimes last year, but it seemed like Buck always got that lineup right, even when he made changes. I swear to God, I think Buck is just throwing it in Epler's face. I don't know why. I just feel that way, and I've said that for a while. But we'll see. It would be nice if it's tomorrow. Look, Ryan Mauricio should be on a plane to Colorado already, in my opinion. It is frustrating at this point. No, committee. Honestly, I swear to you guys, I do think Buck is throwing it in Epler's face. All right, let's see if Carrasco can put up zeros in the bottom of the third. 4-1 Mets.
Takes the back to the bottom of the third. It's the number 9 hitter, Yan Gomes. Gomes 1 for 4 in the opening game of the series, set last night. Gomes attempts with a changeup. Did not swing 1-1. Nico Warner on deck, and then Dansby Swanson.
Come on, Carlos.
Carrasco gave up the first inning home run to Swanson, retired the side in order in the second on just 7 pitches. This maybe the changeup to Gomes, 2-1. Alvarez sets up inside.
Nice pitch. That's a great pitch by Carrasco right there if he keeps that up.
Carrasco always is reliant on his split change. He's throwing a ton tonight. 2-2 coming. Slider fouled off. This year, when he's he's ahead of the count. He throws his changeup a ton, but he's really relying on his fastball behind the count. I guess that's kind of a traditional
No,
way of thinking about it.
I think it's just that he's rusty, and I don't think he has the confidence. I mean, he's a pitcher that has command of all his pitches. In 15 games last year, and he hasn't gotten to a groove. So I think that's probably the reason. Well, the walks are the kill.
The question is his elbow bottom? That's what we don't know. 2-2 coming, and that's it.
Ground ball right to Lindor.
For Lindor.
And 1 out.
Throws that door away. I mean, 2 years ago, he could not really throw that changeup effectively because his elbow was working. He had his elbow cleaned up after the season.
Well, Mike, it's not like Escobar is playing every day. He had 1 start in the last 4 days. Pham, not much either. Vogie, yes.
240 starts. A lot of wear and tear in that arm.
36 years old now. Here's Nico Horner. He takes strike. Grounded out.
No, but Mike, you can also blame the players. Blame Pham, blame Escobar, blame Vogie, because that means they're getting opportunities and they're not doing their job. Ground ball. Oh, right past Lindor, up the middle. Lindor just missed that up the middle. So 1 out hit. 1 out hit for Horner there. Yeah, well, Beltran shouldn't have cheated. That's the way I see it.
There's the third hit against Carrasco. 1 out and 1 on. Dansby Swanson homered in the first inning to tie the game at that point. His 5th of the year. He slices this one out to right center. Marte comes over.
All right, so 2 outs.
It's a good game in there. Gusting in from center field at about 17 miles an hour. It's supposed to diminish as the game goes along, but we haven't seen any diminishment yet.
I always hit better when the wind was blowing in here, but you can kind of get out of your game. My game wasn't home runs, obviously. I think you were line drive.
All right, so Carrasco, we got 2 out in the bottom of the third with 1 man on. 4-1 Mets.
I had good games here, but the wind blowing in.
I swear that umpire is calling an outside strike. I tell you.
So there's been a tight strike zone for Roberto Ortiz, just opened up a little. I think we've lost them to the Sandman. Well, if you have a nice, comfortable blanket and a warm shoulder,
Yeah, it looks like Bruce Willis.
these
Oh my gosh.
these young ladies came prepared for a blizzard. Probably wise.
Look at the Cub leggings. Nice.
Fly ball, shallow left, on comes Cannon, long run, drops.
That's unfortunate.
Bringing it back toward the infield, and Cannon just couldn't get there, and he had half.
Well, that was a good pitch by Carrasco. That wind blew that ball right in. That should have been a pop-up to the left fielder, and that ball kept on coming in.
They're too worried about that. That wind's blowing in. You can play a shallow left. It's a tough chance anyway. But just saying, with the wind, if someone hits one over your head, they've really got to crush it. Oh,
Yeah, cheating is not part of the game when you're actually using technology to get the signs. And Beltran was a part of that.
I'm not sure if anybody's ready to hit it that far, but she's right. It's softball glove. Seiya Suzuki. Look at those outfielders.
Boliqua, Mauricio has nothing to do with Lindor. Not at this point. So Lindor is not going to feel uncomfortable because of Mauricio. Because Mauricio is not playing shortstop. It's very simple.
He has to move his feet on that changeup, and it's 1-1.
when I was a kid growing up, specifically in Northern California, there were very competitive fastball softball leagues. And they were always played at night because the men had to work. They played under the lights.
You ever try hitting a fast pitch softball from 26 feet away?
Well, Ted Williams and a lot of major league hitters hit off of the very famous 100, and they couldn't do it. It's little league distance. It's not easy.
It's very 32. Nice grab. Good gloves. That's good trying to negotiate some traffic here in the third. Tying run at the plate in a 4-1 game. Suzuki has hit 5 home runs in his last 9 games. 2 out, 2 on.
Got to keep the ball down here.
And the slider just missed. 3-2.
All right, Carrasco's got to be careful with this full count pitch here. You don't want to leave anything over the plate where Suzuki can drive.
3-2 coming.
Ball 4.
First walk given up by Carrasco.
Boricua. Again, you are smoking the good stuff if you think Lindor is moving from shortstop. He's been one of the best shortstops in the league defensively, where Ronnie Mauricio has been making a ton of errors ever since he's been in the minor leagues. Shortstop and second base. It's not happening. Even Hanley Ramirez got moved to third base. All right, so bases loaded, 2 outs for the Cubbies with Mike Tauchman up at the plate. Mets have a 4-1 lead in the bottom of the third.
Going up against the Rockies team is playing really well right now. They just pulled one out against Miami today, with 3 out of 4 in that series. The Rockies have 13-9 in May.
Come on, Cookie, let's go.
Here's Tauchman with the bases loaded and 2 out. Rounded out to second base his first time up. Tauchman takes that curveball on his feet, and Alvarez keeps it in the neighborhood.
Boy, that was a backhand right there, too. That's one of the rare times that Francisco didn't move. The runner bases loaded, run on third.
Runner third and Abbott second.
Come on, Carlos. Got to be careful over the plate here.
Tauchman takes a pass for a strike. A big pitch to hit. 1. Hendricks keeping himself as warm as he can. 21st pitch of the inning. Tauchman takes that change up down. It's 2-1. Carrasco needs his second inning. 1, 2, 3 on 7 pitches. A much more laborious third. 2-1 to Mike Tauchman.
Nice pitch. Lindor is not a 250. He actually batted 270 last year.
Some excessive window shopping in this game.
Again, Mauricio has more errors than Lindor has in 2 years. Ground ball, nice. That was a nice at bat right there to stay alive. That was a good pitch by Carrasco. I mean, Boricua, it's established you don't like Lindor, but that doesn't mean Mauricio is going to be better. He's terrible defensively, if you haven't noticed. What is that number? The 10th error at second base, and he had, 5 at shortstop as well? Ground ball should end the inning, and it does. So Carrasco gets out of the jam with no damage done. Mets still leave 4-1 going to the top of the 4th. Yeah, Mike, the outfield is not an option for Mauricio. They've tried that. Again, I already told this story when it came to Mauricio last year at spring training, where they were on the backfields of Port St. Lucie, and that idea got shot down rather quickly. Mauricio does not like to play the outfield. If that was the case, he would have been playing it in the Dominican Winter League. The best option for Mauricio is either to play third, which is not happening because of Beatty, and second base. That's it. All right? And Mauricio will be a liability at second base with the amount of errors he's shown to have already in the minors. Andre, I don't know. The only thing I know that it was the only thing I do remember, and again, I wasn't exactly in front of the backfields. I was at the game, and I noticed Mauricio because I saw his number on his jersey, and the problem was whatever it was. The fact of the matter is that it was like 10 to 15 fly balls. It was like a simulated game, and he missed 2 pop-ups, and the one that was from the ints that was a soft hit. He had no idea how to track the ball. And again, that's only a couple of times I saw him, so I don't know how much better than it was. Listen, when you have a top prospect and the kid doesn't feel comfortable in the outfield, you can ruin a prospect by putting him there because that's what you need. He's better. He'll be better as an infielder somewhere. Again, he's got to be better defensively because you can't have a guy butchering the ball at second base in Major League Baseball. All right, so Canada's leading off in the top of the 4th. Mets lead 4-1. Mike, the crappy infields in the minors. Have you seen the minor league infields? Some of them are better than Major League infields. Ooh, just foul.
Do they call them ball moves here?
I don't think they do, but he looked a little, above the age of being a ball
Mike,
boy.
everybody.
So I gave him the dude moniker.
Canada hits a fly ball to center. Should be 1 out. Yeah, but Boliqua, this is the difference here. Right? Alonso, Beatty, and Alvarez. Right? Unlike Mauricio, they weren't making errors in the minors. Mauricio is making errors. That will translate to the majors. Alonso, Beatty, and Alvarez wasn't making errors. It was the footwork of Alonso. It was the arm of Beatty. It was the framework of Alvarez. That all has been better. They got better. Mauricio has gotten worse defensively. That's a problem. Well, Todd, Beatty looks a little shaky here. He still has problems throwing the first. Like that hasn't changed. His footwork is not great.
3 home runs in his last 4 games, including the only 2 runs for the Mets last night with a shot through the win.
Andre, yeah. or put it this way, right? You can put him at second base, just hope for the best, put McNeil in left field, and then you have to open up the DH spot for Vientos when you DFA Vogelback. Ground balls are short, and 2 outs. Boliqua, I understand. Did you hear what I said at all? Beatty and Alvarez, it wasn't catching the ball that was an issue, right? Making errors, pass balls. That wasn't the issue. The issue with Beatty was his footwork, throwing the ball to first. He has a great arm, but he uses too much of his arm. It's not enough for his lower body. Alvarez was more the framework when it came to working with the pitches. That was it. It wasn't him being Gary Sanchez behind the plate. Alonso wasn't an error machine in the minors. His footwork was bad. That was it. Look at his career in the minors. Mauricio has more errors than any Mets top prospect. Probably God knows how long. More than Beatty, more than Alvarez, and probably more than Alonso combined. Yeah, Lindor, I'm fine with that. Again, I don't. It's not about not giving Mauricio a chance, but I'm trying to tell you why they're not going to trust Mauricio just bringing him up just like that. Because when he botches double plays and he makes throwing errors, you're not going to criticize him. You're going to say, "Oh well, I'd rather see him there than Jeff McNeil." No, you suck. You suck. It's that simple. It doesn't matter who it is. Well, Andre, I agree with that. But it's not the glove with Beatty. It's more about the arm. All right, Brandon Nimmo's up with 2 outs. Let's see if he can keep the inning alive here. You know, this is a situation where you've seen it this year. Nimmo's looking to go deep with 2 outs there. You know, that was a swing. That was a home run swing right there. Come on, Brandon.
Enormously successful. 87 and 61 with a 3.46 ERA for his career. Think of all those years Ferguson Jenkins pitched here.
And Nimmo hits one in the gap, and Suzuki makes a nice catch to rob a double from Brandon Nimmo. And the Mets do not score in the top of the first with a great defensive play and 2 outs from Suzuki. Cubs coming up. Mets lead 4-1 in the bottom of the fourth. Well, Todd, I mean, David Wright had the same issue that Beatty's having, right? It wasn't never about the glove. David Wright can get you anything with the glove. It was his throwing that was a real issue in the minors. Again, this is not Mauricio making throwing errors. These are fielding errors. You know, people were just saying, "Oh, just put him out there. You know, we need his bat." Well, how did that work with Lucas Duda? How did that work with Daniel Murphy when he was playing left field and Lucas Duda was playing left field? I mean, Lucas Duda was barely a first baseman, right? We all know that the worst throw possible Lucas Duda can make in the World Series. You know, I had no problem with them moving. Again, Mauricio got the short end of the stick when the Mets traded for Lindor, when they signed Beatty, because as soon as they signed Lindor, I was like, move Mauricio to third base, and then they drafted Beatty. So what are you going to do? The point of the matter is, if Mauricio is good as everybody says he's going to be, you should be able to play second base. He didn't have a lot of errors in the Dominican Winter League at second or third base. So I don't know what it is, but you can't have a butcher at second base. You just can't. You can't not turn double plays because, Mauricio's bad. So his run differential will hurt us, but maybe he can do something with the bat. There's got to be a balance there. At the very least, you got to be competent. You can't be a disaster at second base. And at the moment, he played half of his game so far at second base in the minors, and he has 10 errors already? That's concerning. Again, not saying he can't get better. But you can't just throw him in second base and says, let's wait and see. Because the Mets infield has been really good this year. You don't want to mess with that either. Because you're already giving up a lot of runs with your pitching staff. You don't need your defense to be giving up more runs. All right, bottom of the fourth, 4-1 Mets.
It's off against Carlos Carrasco, worked his way into and out of the bases loaded jam with the third. Up his pitch count, he's thrown 50 through 3 innings. Morel popped up to Alonso his first time up.
Nice pitch.
Strike zone, it's on the 2.
That's the best breaking ball he's thrown.
Morel was over in the opening game.
Well, Carlos Carrasco fastball sucked, but his breaking stuff has been pretty sharp today. And he struck out Morel on another breaking ball. 1 out. Well, Carrasco's working with his breaking balls today.
So, Gary, in the top half of the inning, you guys were showing that great clip from a few years back when the Cubs couldn't get to their own bullpen. You know, the bullpens here at Wrigley Field, they're maybe the most unique bullpens in Major League Baseball. Underneath the bleachers, completely enclosed. And the relievers that I've talked to tend to have a love-hate relationship with these bullpens. Some big pros and big cons. The biggest pro, according to Drew Smith, is that it's
honestly, I don't care what scouts say. Clearly, those errors are real. Right? Again, Beatty didn't make errors in the minors. Right? Mauricio's making it's not the throwing errors. It's the glove. That is the issue. At second base, you have more reaction time than at shortstop or third base. So, it's got to be his first step, the ball off the bat. He's not reading it correctly. It just has to be.
Out of the bullpen just to take it in so that when he was called upon, it wouldn't be something that jarred him.
Yeah, the question is, when he came out of the bullpen, Steve, was he wearing shoes?
I think at that point,
Carlos.
he was wearing shoes. That's only a pregame ritual. I mean,
Ball 4.
In his bare feet to get grounded before the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of science behind that too. I'll be honest. When he first told me about that last year, a little skeptical. I read about it. I'm not going to say that I haven't walked around barefoot occasionally after that. Something else though,
On the field,
not on the field. Yeah, you're my background. I think I might get kicked out if I walk out to these big league fields with
a little
bare feet.
be a little presumptuous.
But one other thing about these bullpens that I asked, I said, how do you watch the games? Because if you're looking at it from the outside, it looks like it's totally closed off. But that you just saw, it's like a double-sided mirror where the people on the outside seem to be slow in advertising, but on the inside, you can watch the game with a full mirror. So there's actually a good.
Well, it's Pete Crow Armstrong's in the Cubs organization, so not really going to help us. Nimble's defense has actually been better this year than last year. So
Yes, I bet you it's heated.
It's very warm. I asked the bullpen catcher, Aaron Lane.
yeah, at least we didn't sign Correa. Isn't that the truth? Well, maybe the Mets doctors were right.
Put on a just protect.
Already getting problems with that left foot.
To Patrick Wisdom. He lays off the curveball in the dirt. It's 2-2.
And remember, the first game of the series, Wisdom,
Well, Joe,
Sombrero.
hopefully Carrasco implodes in the shower. Instead of on the mound. Again, if he can give us 5 innings and 1 run, I take that. I'll take him out of the game, and I'll take that every day of the week.
63 times this year.
Ground ball could be a double play.
Ground, goes to second, gets the first there. No chance to turn.
All right, so it gets the lead runner at second.
Beatty backed up. That's
This is what you see from Beatty right here. He has a long windup. Doesn't really have a short, quick motion to throw the ball. This is the problem that you see with Beatty defensively. Again, catch the ball and just make a good throw, get the lead runner. That's fine. But he's not very quick glove to hand.
Third basemen now in today's game, they're playing so deep, it's going to let them screen folks. That was not happening.
Yeah, but that's true. But you also got Alex Ramirez, who is probably maybe, if everything works out, he might be here by 2025, maybe even the middle of 2024, because he's been that good. That's supposed to be your center fielder of the future. Yeah, but you're mid. Let's be honest. Scouts are more wrong than they are right. That's been 100 years of baseball. That's nothing new. Dave Magadan. I know my dad would have laughed at that one. Yeah, it wasn't an easy. That wasn't an easy play. He backed up, but again, it should have been a lot closer play. He takes a long time to get rid of the ball. That's the problem with Beatty turning double plays. Joe, that's a good question. I think he's in. I know he was in Brooklyn last year because I remember going to a Cyclones game. He could be in Binghamton right now.
I think that's probably less important than you're throwing at, but that's just a guess. You play that in.
Come on, Carlos.
2. He almost takes a slider off his leg and swing 2. Carrasco's thrown a lot more breaking balls in this.
I think he's in high A.
Fastballs and changeups, too.
Yeah, he's still in Brooklyn.
He's got the hand in the back pocket as well. Beatty's going al fresco. He's got his hand out. Two.
Got to get Gomes here. You don't want the top of the order coming. I think he will, Joe.
Goes to the first with 2 out. And Gomes gets a slider and flies it down the left field line. And it'll blow away from Canada and into the crowd.
Jones has swung at so many, his other at bat too. But I'm sure it's swinging at a lot of bad pitch to strike zone.
I don't think Buck has lost a team. I just think players need to play. You're getting paid to play. If you're not performing, it's the players. You know, they're all professionals. You're out there, you do the job. If you don't, that's on the players. All right, fly ball should end the inning. Marte under it, and it does. So another solid inning for Carrasco through Ford. Mets lead 4-1. Well, Mike, I mean, no, we all know Carlos Carrasco. Carlos Carrasco didn't have a put-away pitch last year, but he was he was pretty good for the Mets last year. But we don't need him to have a put-away pitch. He just needs to have the batters off balance. That's it. That's all he has to do. Again, he can pitch with a 93 miles an hour fastball. It's all about his breaking ball. And if you see it right now, his breaking ball has the Cubs batters off balance. And that's all he can look at. He's not a strikeout pitcher. We all know that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ramirez, because they're doing the same thing what they did with basically Alvarez, Vientos, and Beatty. Well, Christina, you know what? It's about time. With Carrasco. Again, it's 4-1. It's only the fourth inning. Again, if Carrasco gives us 5 innings with 1 run, I don't think anybody would have thought he was going to do that today. I'd take that. I'd run as far as I can run with that. So, once again, guys, thank you for tuning in to Mets versus Cubs live stream. Well, Joe, I agree with you. I think the biggest problem with this Mets whole situation with being 500 in 50 games this year is the fact that, again, I just gave you the stat before the game. There's been 12 times this year the Mets have gone 6 innings or more. We play 50 games. So the other 39, we got 5 innings or less. It's very hard to win like that. And like I said, I am amazed that the Mets are 500 because if you look at the teams that have similar starting pitching numbers where they don't go to the 6th inning and most of the time they go less than 6 innings, there's 6, 7, 8, 9 games under 500. So that's some solace looking in the positive side of the Mets that they're finding ways to stick at 500 as bad as their pitching has been. All right, guys, here we go. Lindor leading off, 4-1 Mets. Yeah, Mike, but you're looking only at the money. Like, that, who cares about that? Taijuan Walker's getting the same amount of money. He ain't striking out anybody, right? Lindor pops it up. Is the wind going to blow it out of play? Yes. Yeah, Steven, but you know what, though? I mean, I still – look, it's very odd. You have a Cy Young Award winner last year at the age 39, and he was actually 40 at that point. Scherzer had his best ERA of his career before he got hurt. So it's not like he was bad last year, except for 2 games.
SNY logo jacket? No. Matt, did we get Keith an SNY jacket? I have.
Steven, I agree with about the aging pitches, risky, but the Mets have no
I can hear you.
Pitching prospects that are ready. And Lindor strikes out on a bad swing.
Check out the road ahead. It's going to be warmer in
Well,
Colorado. Ready to hope for the Mets. WCBS 880 and streaming on the free Odyssey app. That's lost 2 out of 3.
Well, Mets fans, that's true, but also the Braves don't beat good teams. Look at their record against teams over 500. They've destroyed, and give them credit, they've destroyed, and that's a base hit from McNeil up the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like, The Braves destroy bad teams. Like, they give bad teams no chance. That's why they have the record they have right now. Because if you just look at their records against 500 teams, they're not doing very well. But that's their MO. They destroy the bad teams and play a few games under 500 against good teams, and that's how they get their records that they get every year and win divisions. So that's credit to them. They do what they have to do against the bad teams and hover around 500 against the good teams. All right, Pete Alonso's up with 1 out and the man on.
Brent Hughes, the left-hander, is up in the Cubs bullpen. With Hendricks up over 80 pitches now in his first start. This is part of the order that got to Hendricks in the third inning, 4 consecutive 2-out hits.
Well, Mets fan, I mean, that doesn't make sense because Scherzer has pitched more and better than DeGrom over the last 3 years. I mean, DeGrom over the last 2 years pitched 15 games apiece each year. He's pitched half the year.
So the Rockies have Carlos Marquez, their best pitcher, Tommy John surgery out for the year.
And yeah, we didn't keep Max over him. And, you know, the Rangers are playing very well without DeGrom. So clearly DeGrom is not helping that team.
Against the Mets off the aisle, but now he's down with an elbow. And Noah Davis, their good young starter.
Yeah. All right, so Pete got 2 strikes on him. Pete had a little bit of trouble with Hendricks' pitches so far. See if he can stay back here. He's not throwing that hard.
We'll go on Saturday. Austin Gomber, the lefty, pitched great against the Mets in Citi Field for pitch Sunday.
Come on, Pete.
The Mets will counter with Scherzer, Verlander, and McGill. Night games on Friday and Saturday. And day game Sunday before the Mets fly home to get Memorial Day off and then host the Blue Jays on Tuesday.
Well, don't we talk about it? If you're not on the field, if you're not on the field, you're not helping your team. Well, Mets fan, I mean, honestly though, DeGrom has been to playoffs twice in his career. He had a good start against the Padres, and he was really good in the 2015 playoffs. But other than that, he didn't get opportunities.
Right. It's a 7-day-a-week gig. Right. And we get to all. So sometimes you just don't know what day it is.
When it's a day game, there's a good chance it's Sunday.
Unless it's Thursday. You'd like to get away with it.
Oh, and it hits Alonso in the elbow, and the Mets will have first and second with 1 out with Brett Beatty coming up.
It's their 29th. And Alonso's on base for the 3rd time tonight. Nothing he can do here. And that's going to be it for Hendricks.
All right, so they're taking Hendricks out of the game. So the Mets did what they needed to do, put runs up on the board and get the starter out early. And we'll see if the Mets can capitalize on first and second with 1 out with Brett Beatty coming up in the top of the 5th with already a three-run lead. Beatty already has 2 RBIs on the night, looking to get more. So once again, guys, you know, we talk about DeGrom, Scherzer. Again, I don't care how good you are. If you can't be on the field to help your team, it's pointless how good you are when you're on the field. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't do anybody good, right? DeGrom pitched, 15 games each of the last 2 years, yet he got a massive contract for just pitching basically half a season for 2 years in a row, right? That is the issue. And it wasn't DeGrom over Scherzer, Verlander over DeGrom. Remember, DeGrom took the Rangers' big offer, and that's when the Mets pivot to Verlander, right? I think the Mets offer to DeGrom was right on target. A guy who's been often injured over the last 3 years, you'd be insane to give him 5 years. I'm sorry, you can't do that. Because everybody would be killing Epler and the Mets if they gave DeGrom that contract, and he's pitched 4 games this year? Well, Mike, that's a great point. Without DeGrom, we played great without him. But also, you know, when you had Bassett pitching well and Walker pitching well and Carrasco had a good year last year and Peterson came in and helped out, yeah, you're going to, you know, when Scherzer pitched well, like, yeah, it's a lot easier when four, you know, other starters in your rotation picked up the slack. Oh, yes, yeah, I agree. It is a tough. Well, I don't think it's a tough call. I'm sorry. When the pitcher barely had 30 starts in 2 years, how can you give that guy 5 years? You know, it's not like we gave Scherzer 6 years or Verlander 5 years. And DeGrom has been more injured than Scherzer and Verlander put together. All right, so here we go. Yeah, but you know what, Hector? The Mets were never good when DeGrom was good. In 2018 and 2019, the Mets weren't good enough. So, and all the other years. All right, let's see if Beatty can come through with one out here with 2 men on.
Sack fly to single. There's that slider in the dirt, ball on strike. He was a Michigan State product.
Correct, Mike. That's a winning move.
7 games for them last year. He became a favorite.
Come on, Brett.
David Ross. Runners go.
Whoa, the runners are stealing. Oh, they throw the ball away, and the run's going to score. Mets with the aggressive base running. Get the error from the catcher, throwing error, and the Mets get another run, 5-1 Mets. So the Mets were extremely aggressive, double steal, second and third. That was very risky, but it worked. I think he would have been safe anyway, but it was a terrible throw by the catcher, by Gomes, and McNeil scores, 5-1 Mets. So, another runner in scoring position for Beatty.
So the Mets steal a run, second error of the night for the Cubs. And a swing and a miss by Beatty, 2-2. McNeil was creeping. He had a good idea right there. Pete very alertly.
Hey, listen. Mets taking advantage of mistakes. Hasn't happened a lot.
2-2 coming. Slider off the plate, 3-2. McNeil's third.
Yeah, for real, Grant. Alonso's been stealing lately. All right, so Brett Beatty staying in there well against the lefty.
Pete Alonso, by the way, his 10th, his 11th career steal. 5 last year. Swing and a miss.
And Beatty strikes out on a breaking ball. 2 outs.
We went chasing out in front.
All right, so Marte coming up with 2 outs. Marte had a big 2-out RBI hit. See if he can get another one here. Come on, Starling.
His RBIs were his 13th and 14th of the year. Slider in the dirt, 2-0. So we have now updated the graphic. We now have the correct days of the week on the graphic. We already had the correct pitchers. Now we've added the correct days. Tomorrow, which is Friday. Saturday, Sunday. Saturday on picks 11. Now, the game tomorrow night is at 6:40 local time in Colorado.
Yes.
And Saturday is at 7:10 local time.
I don't understand that. For the day game on Sunday.
Often they'll play the Saturday games a little earlier than the Friday games.
It's the opposite.
Right, it's the opposite. Maybe they have fireworks. They want to make sure it's done. 2-2 tomorrow. I don't know that. I'm just speculating. Find out that there's a big event in Denver on Saturday.
Well, it's a normal day of weekend.
Yes, it is. Alonso at second with 2 out, 2-2 to Marte. And Starling takes that slider just low in.
So Marte looks like he got a good eye at the plate today, not swinging that crap. 3-2, 2 outs. And look at this. Vientos is pinching it for Vogelback. Interesting. On deck.
3-2 coming.
Ground ball. Is he going to beat Marte to the bag? He will. But the New York Mets get 1 run from a throwing error from the catcher from a double steal from the Mets. 5-1 Mets going to the bottom of the 5th. Yeah, I agree. I understand that. Verlander was out a month. I give you that. I will give you that. And Scherzer has 7 starts, but that was from suspension, not because of injury. K-Rod was interesting. I never trusted K-Rod with the Mets, though. Again, Verlander was out a month, right? But the injuries that DeGrom has could be season-ended. It's arm injuries. Forearm tightness, elbow inflammation. That all sounds like leading to Tommy John. Andre, well, I mean, they put a lefty in there, so that's probably the reason. Yeah, Mets fan, but you got to remember, in those games he started, there was already twice already that he was out by the 4th inning. So those 6 games are kind of not warranted, considering the fact that he pitched like 4 innings and he got taken out early. Again, when DeGrom pitches, he's great, but it's when he pitches. Yeah, great. See, thank you, Greg. I was just gonna say that because I was just pulling up. I know I saw something about DeGrom today about his bullpen session. They shut him down. So, I mean, I guarantee he won't have 15 starts this year. And honestly, I was the one person that said that. I think DeGrom is gonna have a great year. Considering that, why not, right? Because the Mets never get lucky with stuff like that. It's a real problem, and that's year 1 of a 5-year contract. I'm telling you, if the Mets would have gave him that contract, the Mets you would be killing them right now. You can miss him all you want. He's lights out when he pitches, not enough. All right, so 1 out, 1 pitch, 1 out for Carrasco.
The Wrigley Field organ was actually the first organ ever in Major League Baseball back in 1941. There was an organ here for 1 day, and then not again until it became a permanent fixture in 1967. But they've had a ton of famous organists over the years. The most famous,
yeah, Joe, I was at that game in Yankee Stadium.
Retired back in 2019, Gary Cressy. He was the organist here from 1987 until 2019. Did not miss a single game over those 33 years. Right now, he's been replaced by 2 separate guys, Josh Langhoff, who you just saw playing the organ there, and John Benedek, who I spoke with actually before the game today. And the way that he
we all love DeGrom, but again, you can't count on a guy for 5 years giving you 15 starts a year. It just doesn't work.
All of those little short silent moments with.
So Carrasco got 75 pitches through 1 out in the 5th, got a 4-run lead.
Where it's a constant throughout, and not so much of the new modern music played via DJ or anything like that.
I have a funny story for you. So I was with the Cardinals. We were playing a day game, obviously. It's a double pattern.
Yeah, I think they were willing to give 3 years, not more than that.
Ozzie Smith all of a sudden just kind of in a grumpy mood. And he finally sat down next to him and turned to me and he goes, "The organ's killing me." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You don't have it on your side?" I go, "No, it's not down there." He goes, "It's right over the left field line, and it's coming down right on my ear, and I've got a headache, and it's killing me." So I never knew that. So just thought I'd throw that in there. I don't know if that's the case.
And nice pitch by Carrasco to strike out Swanson. 2 outs.
Well, I don't know about
Well, Mets fan, if you really paid attention in that game, the Mets scored, 7 runs in that game?
the new organ
So-
player. It's actually a great story about how
If the Mets would have scored 7 runs in game 1 or game 3, they might have won one of those games. So DeGrom got a lot of run support in that game.
And he was a producer for a local.
Again, he pitched well. The only win. But let's not, the Mets would have easily won the division if DeGrom actually pitched the entire season. We might have won 1 or 2 more games or more, right? So you can blame DeGrom for not winning extra games because he wasn't around.
Previous organ for the current one they're playing, and so the organist tonight
Round ball should end the inning.
has
And Carlos Carrasco, 5 solid innings of 1-run ball. Will he get a 6th inning? Will he get a 6th inning? Maybe if the Mets put up a couple more runs, you might throw out Carrasco for another inning, saving that bullpen a little bit. But gave up 1 run, and one of those runs was a Swanson home run. So Carrasco has pitched good through 5. Mets lead 5-1. Going to the top of the 6th. Mets are coming up. Once again, guys, thank you for tuning in to the channel for another live stream during the Mets game. Keep on coming back for more. If you haven't checked out my Ronnie Mauricio video, please do. There was some update report / information that WFAN gave earlier today on the Boomer and Gio show that there was word that there's been rumblings that the Mets are looking to bring up Ronnie Mauricio on Tuesday. So I gave my reason why they're doing that on Tuesday. And I think it's a pretty good reason, to be honest with you. And a lot of people who already saw the video agreed. And they did it exactly what they did with what they're most likely going to do with Mauricio, what they did with Vientos. And it has to do with a homestand. So I agree, Mike. Listen, you got a 4-run lead. If you can't trust any starter with a 4-run lead, Mets aren't going anywhere. Throw calls out there. He has close to 80 pitches. Start him in the inning and have a bullpen guy ready just in case. Stezo, that's true. Could DeGrom DH? Yeah, I think the doctors were right about Correa. Year 1 of it's, what is it, 12-year deal? Lordy Lord. But you know what, guys? You know what? It's and Riley just went deep against the Phillies. So the Braves can't beat 500 teams, and the Braves and the Phillies are just swindling right now. So Vogelback is getting the at-bat here because there's a right-hander on the mound. Michael Rucker for the Cubs, right-hander. And you thought Bucker's going to take out Vogelback.
Lead, trying to salvage the finale here in Chicago after the Cubs won the first 2 games.
Tell you right now, if Vogelback gets a base hit here, you won't see Vientos for another 3 days. 4-4. Vogelback gets a walk, which is all he does. Are they going to pinch run for Vogelback? Maybe, maybe not. Alvarez coming up.
So Vogelback aboard. Marcana coming up. Marcana struck out.
I'm sorry, Marcana coming up. Sorry about that, guys. Nope, Vientos is not pinch running. I agree, Cezzo. I agree.
7 starts dating back to last year.
Can a ground ball double play? God, one thing Canada does really well is hitting the double plays. Andre, who knows? All right, so Alvarez is up with 2 outs. You already know that Alvarez is going to be swinging for the fences here with 2 outs. You know, I actually, Joe, you know, when and if Mauricio comes up, I do think Canna being a 4th outfielder would benefit coming off the bench and playing like every 2 days or every play twice a week like Escobar. Because Escobar has been really good coming off the bench playing like twice a week. I think Canada will benefit from that if Mauricio comes up and they do what they're going to do with Mauricio at second and McNeil in left.
So the greatest legends of all time. Kenny M's.
I agree, and that's why when people are like, "Oh, get rid of Escobar," Escobar is fine as a bench, as a utility guy, and I think Canada would benefit from being a utility guy as well. And it only strengthens your bench. Ground ball down the third base line. Is Alvarez going to beat it out? Yes, he is. Infield single for Alvarez with 2 outs.
Actually threw an accurate one hopper to first, but Alvarez beat it down the line for a base hit. So if we let the curtain off, then Boog Shambi and Jim DeShays and Joe Girardi would be on our broadcast there on the other side of the window. Hi, boys. See, that's Boog standing right there. Boog's right there. He's standing. And there's Joe Girardi standing next to him, and Jim DeShays is on the other side. Now, Keith's going to try and smoke. Boog bought in. He decided he wanted to be on our broadcast. See, smile. So there you go. You're on TV now, Boog. Good job. That's why we have the curtain.
Joe, I agree with you. I love veteran bats on the bench, especially a guy like Escobar and Canada would be perfect for a bench.
It's like same color, or shoes.
It's like a green Band-Aid. Doesn't really match the curtain.
And Nimmo strikes out, looking to end the top of the 6th. 5-1 Mets going to the bottom of the 6th. Hey, Consuelo agrees with me, so that's what matters. So, once again, guys, we are here once again during a Mets stream. And again, the next few days will be interesting, guys, because I am headed to the Jersey Shore in a couple of days. So for Memorial Day, so it'll be almost impossible. I'll probably do a couple of YouTube shorts pre and post game for the Mets, just like instant reactions after the game, and do a little bit of a starting lineup preview before the games while I'm on the Jersey Shore. Excuse me. So, I probably might do a stream tomorrow for the game, but I'm not sure yet. Depending on what's going on. It's a late night, so we'll see. Well, Joe is at the end of the line of Jersey. He's basically halfway down the Atlantic Ocean. So So once again, guys, the live stream for the games might be a little scarce the next 3 or 4 days, but I will be, once I come back, I'll be going to the game on the first game of the series against the Phillies at home. So that would be fun. Get the Howie Rolls bobblehead that talks. And then I can say, put it in the books. Hopefully a lot once I get it. Well, Joe, I think we're 2 hours away from each other. I'm going to be in that Belmar area, and you're going to be, Cape May. So, all right, so Carrasco's in the game. I like this move by Buck, trying to save the bullpen here. Bottom of the 6th, 5-1 Mets.
Carrasco was having himself a very fine outing. And much needed.
Popped it up. This might be a little bit of trouble here with the wind. Somebody's calling it. And Lindor got it. 1 out.
6 in a row retired by
Nice.
Carrasco. This is
Joe, you should marry her. That might be your beach house in 25 years.
Pitch in the 6th inning in opening his first start, but it's the first time he's gotten it out in the 6th. And it's badly needed for a Mets team.
Hey, Grant, let me know. I can set it up.
Their starters go 5 innings or less. Drew Smith
Mets
is
fan,
the
I think you can
first
call all
batter
of us a
for the
depressed Mets fan.
But keep in
like
mind that the Mets
that's not going to change until the Mets win something. Like, let's be honest.
Vino and Robertson have each had multiple days off, which is something that Doug Showalter is awfully happy with after having pushed them very hard on that last homestand with all those one-run games. Mike Tauchman up for the third time, swings and misses at a changeup, and it's 1-1. Tauchman's been up twice, grounded out to McNeil both times. Most pitches Carrasco's thrown in and out of this year is 96. It's at 84 right now with 1 out of the 6. Fouls it away, another changeup, 1-2. Carrasco was throwing his changeup with
Yeah, well, I'm not too far behind you. I'm a Cowboys fan, so it's depression all around.
1-2 coming.
And he strikes out Tauchman, 2 outs.
Alvarez will have to make the toss to first.
All right, there we go.
Stood on it. 2 out.
Well, remember that stat, guys. Mets are what? 12-0 when a Mets pitcher goes 6 innings. Undefeated. Carrasco gets one more out. Will that stay pat and the Mets be undefeated in that? Well, I mean, Joe, I was like 9 years old, 10 years old when all that went down with the Cowboys. I was young. I couldn't enjoy it as much as I would now. You know, I saw the Rangers win in '94, and I was 7 years old. So.
Morello's popped up and struck out 0-2. This is all 13 games he's played this year.
Ground ball right to Lindor, and the inning is over. So Carlos Carrasco, 6 innings, 1-run ball. Damn, I should have bet Carrasco 6 innings, huh? Wow. I'm shocked by Carrasco, and again, this is why you just can't predict baseball. You just can't. This is why you can't predict baseball, and why when people talk about Mike, why the hell not? Honestly, seriously. I mean, I don't think they will, because the last thing you want is to send him in the 7th, and then he gets rocked, and then you basically take away his good start. Look, sometimes it all takes is a little bit of confidence. You know, can Carrasco go on a 2 or 3 game stretch here where he pitches decent? Who knows? But this is why you can't predict baseball, because this is what happens. Something that you don't think would happen happened tonight. 6 innings, 1-run ball. If I would have said that on Twitter, I would have got destroyed on Twitter. Right? If I would have said that prior to the game, you guys would have killed me. You're crazy, Rob. You're insane. But it happened. Living proof. It's just the way it goes. Well, Grant, again, that is, and we talked about that the last time. If his bone spur, remember, they didn't operate him on his elbow to take away the bone spurs. They did an injection, and sometimes that, you know, moves around the chips in the elbow there, that helps where the bone spurs don't affect, you know. Carrasco feels pain when the bone spurs are in that area of his elbow when he throws. You know, and if it doesn't affect him, I think he can be effective. I'm not saying 6 innings, 1 run, but if he would have gave me 5 innings, 1 run, I would take that every day of the week. So can the Mets stay undefeated when a Mets pitcher goes 6 innings or more? They're undefeated so far. Let's see if they can keep it up. Lindor leads off 5-1 Mets in the top of the 7th. Yeah, Grant. I had it when I played in college. It's the worst feeling in the world. I mean, the sharp pain that you get every time you move that particular area. And just imagine doing that, throwing 90-something pitches a game. Hector, I was young, but I remember that. It was a good Super Bowl, though. Well, at least for me. Yeah, great, exactly. Ground ball, and that is an out. 1 out. Yeah, you know, I didn't pitch, but I was a third baseman in college, and when I had that bone spur, and also I had bone chips that were floating around in my elbow. When they when they were floating around in the wrong area, and I threw the ball, I used to get a sharp pain from my elbow all the way down to my fingers. It was terrible. Ben DiNucci. Now, my favorite player. You know, I always liked Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin. Deion Sanders was a lot of fun to watch. But
I bet they're cold on a night like this too. Probably with gloves. They said that they have to wear gloves, especially on yes. That makes sense. Plates. I bet you when they bake in the sun all day, they take all the plates down at the end of the game.
McNeil's been on base 3 straight times, just walking 2 singles.
And Jeff hits one down the left field line for a base hit. Well, McNeil is 3 for 3, getting hot. Good time to get hot when you head into Colorado, huh? Nice to see. Oh yeah, Micah Parsons, he's a beast.
High pitch, level swing.
You know, it's funny. You know, not a lot of people talk about linemen, but Jumbo Elliott, the couple of years he played for the Cowboys, that I loved it.
McNeil's average 293.
Alonso hits one right field. That ball might be gone. Yeah, 2-run homer by Alonso. Opposite field, 2-run homer, 19th of the season, and give the Mets a 7-1 lead, baby. Now that's adding on some damn insurance runs right there, baby. Let's go. 19 home runs, and he's still got, 6 days for the month? Beautiful. That was a shot with the wind. 7-1 Mets. Let's go. Offense looking like they can start hitting now, right before heading to Colorado. And that was a shot. Come on, Brett. Committee, I do it. Honestly, I bring out Carrasco for the 7th. Why not? You got a 6-run lead, maybe more.
Right on the pace for 60 home runs this season.
And Beatty strikes out, 2 outs. When Pete Alonso goes opposite field for a home run, you know he's on because he stays back, he stays leveled, and he stays back and his bat stays leveled. I love when Pete does that. Pete Alonso has the most home runs in Major League Baseball by 4 right now. He's on pace for 60 home runs.
This is one of the harder places for a hitter to hit an opposite field home run, a straightaway outfield, right? As opposed to over in the gap. Because you've got those deep wells.
Yeah, on pace for 60. And again, he still has 6 more, 5 or 6 more days for the month. So, and he's going to Colorado. And we know how Colorado is. No, if he can hit 2 home runs in Colorado, he'll have 21 right before the month's going to end. That's insane.
Marte had a few chin in this game. That's from 2-1 in the
Well,
third.
at this point, I think Judge had 16 home runs at this point last year.
Now has a 2-1 home, make it 7-1.
And Marte grounds the ball, and it is end of the inning for the 7th, but not before. Pete Alonso adds some insurance runs in the top of the 7th with a 2-run opposite field home run to give the Mets a 7-1 lead. And is Carrasco coming out for the 7th? I hardly doubt it, but it would be cool to see. So once again, guys, don't forget to please hit on that like button if you haven't already. Pete Alonso is on pace for 60 home runs. No, look, I honestly think Pete Alonso is a better overall power hitter. The numbers show it, actually. Well, yeah, but this year, 14 home runs playing less games. I'm talking about last year. At this time, I think he had like 16 home runs last year. Again, like I said, Judge is a 50 home run guy. There's 45, 50 home run guy. Like, so it's not like, look, I don't like compare. There's no reason to compare. Look, we have the two of the best power hitters in all of baseball in New York with Judge and Alonso. We should appreciate that instead of killing each of those guys when they don't deserve it. Look, is Judge an overall better player overall? I mean, it's hard to say no, right? Judge, with that power, bats 300. Pete Alonso, every year his average has been getting higher and higher. Last year he batted 270. I don't know if Pete can get back to 270 this year. He could. I would like to see Pete's average over 260 at the very least. So, yeah. So, again, it's hard to kill either of those guys. I mean, look, they both are the lifeblood of their team. You take away Pete Alonso from the Mets, you take away Aaron Judge from the Yankees, are they even a 500 team? Probably much worse. So, guess what, guys? Breaking news. Carlos Carrasco out for the 7th. I love this. Beautiful. 6-run lead. Why the hell not?
Just real nice start for him. He's going to make Carlos feel good, and it's going to make the Mets.
Come on, Carlos.
They need him.
Rivers takes fastball for a strike. He's still throwing 93. That's what he was throwing in the first game. So a lot of changeups tonight. Mixed in some sliders and curves in the middle innings. And now looking for the finish. Rivers has struck out a walk tonight. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts for Carrasco.
Gotta check my FanDuel. I think I had Pete hitting a home run too. I might have everything. Adam Ottavino's warming up in the bullpen, just in case.
That's 4 days. Robertson hasn't pitched in 3, so they're ready. They need the work.
It's funny how that works, right?
Well, guys, I think I hit on my parlay. Brandon Nimmo to record a hit, Pete Alonso to record a hit, Jeff McNeil to record a hit, Pete Alonso to record a hit and hit a home run, Jeff McNeil to record 2 hits, and he's got 3 hits. And I also got a Dansby Swanson hit as well. So $5, $150 payday. As long as the Mets win the ball game, I got everything. That's a nice payday. I take that $5 for $150. Take that every day of the week. And that was on a free bet.
Seventh pitch in the at-bat coming to Purvis, rookie first baseman.
Did he go? No.
Ball came inside. It's 3-2.
Mets fan, I don't think Pete's holding out. I think the Mets are going to be strategic with what they do with Pete Alonso. Ground ball should be 1 out, and it is. Yeah, you know what, Mets fan? You know what's funny about that? It was a free bet from FanDuel, right? So I had money in my account, so I'm like, you know what? Let me just use the free bet. and I was at work, so I was like, let me just use the free bet,
6 days.
and I just did it like that. And again, I can't complain. $5 for a $150 bet. Usually, I'm a little crazy with bets. I would throw like $50 on a bet like that, and that would have been probably like, come on, Beatty, throw him out. Oh, what a play by Beatty. Strong arm to get him out by a step. 2 outs.
Nice backhand at the long hop plant and the strong throw, not the long hop.
Got him by a step. 2 outs.
Nicely done.
So that's 10 straight for Carrasco. Here's Jan Gomes, who's 0 for 2. Takes a slider off the plate for ball 1.
Yeah, exactly, Mets fan. I was thinking about that right now.
Scoring just 4 runs on 10 hits total in the first 2 games of the series.
Yep, that would have been a nice payday. I would have called out of work for a couple of days for the rest of the week while I go on the Jersey Shore.
Shot by Alonso.
Ground ball. Oh, Beatty got eaten up by that hard hit, base hit. Nice try by Beatty, though. Got a glove on it, but it was roped. Oh, that ball closed his glove a little too early.
That's going to be all for Carrasco.
All right, so Buck is taking out Carlos Carrasco with 2 outs in the 7th. I don't know. I know people are going to kill Buck Showalter for this, but if you quickly looked at Carrasco, he went like this. So I think he thought he was done. He did. He went like this. So I think that was why Buck came out, because I don't know if anybody saw that, but he went like this. So I think Carrasco felt like his arm was getting tired. Yeah, so I knew it was something like that, 16 or 17 home runs. So again, Peter, because Aaron Judge was on pace for a lot of the time for about 57, 58 home runs. But look, if Pete Alonso has like a 2 home run day in the next like 3 or 4 days, listen, 6 2/3 from Carlos Carrasco, 1 run. God, if I can get that, look, that's a lot to ask for Carrasco at this point, to be honest with you. But look, I said it before the game. Can you give me 5 runs, 1 run? 5 innings, 1 run? I take that. But again, when Carlos Carrasco, when he's not in pain, and again, he's been pitching with pain, guys. And again, I don't know if you guys ever had a bone spur or bone chips in your elbow. Again, I never pitched, but I played third base, and I got those freaking bone spur and bone chips in my elbow. It is the worst feeling in the world. That every time you're about to throw a ball, you don't know if you're going to feel pain or not until after you throw the pitch or throw the ball. That's a problem as a pitcher. So again, he clearly was healthy today. The elbow did not affect him at all. But all I need is a Mets win, and my free bet gives me $150. I take that. Woohoo! I'll definitely take that. So great performance from Carrasco, more than anybody probably expected. And now Ottavino is coming into the ball game to get the final out in the 8th. So the Mets did what they have to do run scoring wise. Let's see if they can close the deal. In the 7th, excuse me. I'm sorry. Not the 8th, the 7th.
Chase Nico Horner with 2 out of runner first. Takes fastball strike, nothing to 1.
There's the Nissan numbers for Adam.
Really tell that Ottavino's been overworked. He wasn't out in like he did against Cleveland, where his pitches just are not doing what he asked them to. But when he's rested, like he is tonight, he usually nails. Hit on Porter Road 2. Just missed the away with that fastball. 1-2.
Yeah, Christina. I honestly think was it against the Braves
Just the one run
that he
so
went
far.
8? Was it the Braves or the Phillies? It was. I think it was an NL East team.
Good job, well done.
Come on, Otto, get out of it. Come on.
2-2.
Come on, don't walk, guys. Let's go. Challenge these guys. You got a 6-run lead. God, pitchers drive me nuts when they got a big lead and they don't throw strikes. Oh, God, that annoys me.
3-2 coming to Horner.
Ball for it. Jesus Christ.
First straight pitches went to a 3-2 slider. He walks his first batter. Now Dansby Swanson, who's accounted for the only Chicago run with a first-inning home run, will step in. Philly Atlanta game's on the bottom of the 8th, still tied 5-5. All the games, but the Mets, Phillies, and Braves are going to be
All right, Dansby Swanson up with 2 men on with 2 outs in the 7th.
Here's Swanson with 2 out and 2 on. It's a sharp
Ground ball right to McNeil, and they get out of it. Ottavino gets a hard ground ball to Jeff McNeil, but McNeil makes a good play right in front of him for the last out of the 7th. Mets lead 7-1, going to the top of the 8th. So, yikes. I know Ottavino has been actually good this year. They just showed the stats, but I just don't trust Ottavino. I just don't. I never do. Can't hold on runners. Scares the hell out of me. That damn slider, if he ever hangs that pitch, it's going like 600 feet. But he got out of it, so I'll take it. So the Mets lead by 6. Carlos Carrasco with the start of his best start of the 2023 season. It's only been 5 starts, so it's not a lot. But nice to see Carlos Carrasco. And again, sometimes, and we talked about this with the Mets hitters, you just need a little bit of confidence. And again, I don't think it's confidence or stuff even with Carlos Carrasco. You see, Carlos Carrasco still has good stuff. He's not going to blow past people with his fastball. But when he's on, when he's not in pain, he's still got good stuff. And he keeps the batters off balance. And I think that's what you have to do, especially as a pitcher who doesn't throw as hard as he used to. You know, he used to throw 96, 97, but he relied on his breaking ball now, his off-speed pitches, and that's what he's got to do. And again, if he's healthy, if his elbow doesn't act up, I think you can get starts, not exactly like this, but like 5 innings, 1 run, the occasional 6 innings, 1 or 2 runs. I take that every time. Carrasco's your 5th starter. I take that every day of the week from my 5th starter. So here we go, guys. Top of the 8th, Mets lead 7-1. See if they can add a couple of more runs to this whole thing.
Bet. Same game live on the parlay. Take a look.
And Vogelback gets a base hit up the middle. Oh, I guess that means he's playing tomorrow. Sorry, guys. Another day of Vogelback for everybody.
Single to start at the top of the 8th.
First pitch. Here. First pitch.
We're busy reading the. So explain to me about Steve taking shelter.
It's cold.
Well, what are you on?
I'm freezing.
You know, I mean, there's no heat in this room.
There's no heat.
And I guess he's a little more exposed out there.
He's a tenderfoot. Steve's a tenderfoot. Tenderfoot.
Oh, it's a cat. Is that like not quite an Eagle Scout?
And Canna swung, one out.
Second top today. We're going to check in and see what's coming up on PointsBet Postgame Live. Gary and the boys are in the studio.
So again, we take you, Tom, Jerry, and I'm going to be alone just a little bit here. Going to take a look at what Carlos Carrasco did so well tonight. And I know there are plenty of opportunities and chances for the seal of approval tonight from Todd. Yes, we'll see you guys coming up on the post-game show.
Was there like a scheduling snafu?
And that's a base hit down the line by Alvarez. And that might score Vogelback. No, it gets to third base. Alvarez with a 1-out double, second and third, 1 out.
He's starting to turn it on. Let's hope they got to give him a base hit. That ball did eat up Wisdom.
It's up, second and third, 1 out. Brandon Nimmo coming up.
Well, the Mets with a chance to tackle.
Be nice if the Mets can just get a laugher here, where you don't have to worry. That would be nice. We don't have a lot of those this year.
Nimmo, who's gone 1 for 4 today, and base hit scored a run back in the first.
And Nimmo hits one down the line, foul.
So I was wondering if there was a scheduling snafu that Todd and Jerry are both in the studio tonight.
Well, you know one thing, they're warm.
Yeah, it's usually pretty cool in that studio. Gary likes to keep it 45 degrees.
Well, I know one thing, Todd's in the center field.
Vogelback at third, Alvarez at second.
And Nimmo gets a base hit. That is 2 more runs. And that might be a triple for Nimmo. 9-1 Mets. And Nimmo pulls up to 3. And he got a triple for Nimmo. 9-1 Mets. Brandon Nimmo, 2 RBI triple. And the Mets have a laugher here in Chicago. Well needed from this damn team.
Slider on the back door, Brandon.
Let's go.
Balls up, belt tie, stays back.
About damn time.
Beautiful. Bullet.
By the time Talkman tracked this ball down, Nimmo was on his way to third.
And he knew Nimmo was going for a triple there.
Look at him cut the corner.
9-1 Mets, baby. That's what I like to see.
Second triple of the year for Nimmo, his 20th and 21st RBI. So he is
Just makes my parlay look better and better, guys.
He's still looking for his first hit.
Can Lindor can join the party with a hit today? He's still struggling. It'd be nice to get him going right when we hit Colorado.
That is a white flag move. Here's the line back there. Cubs after the game.
And Lindor gets a base hit and an RBI. 10-1 Mets. Everybody's joining the party today. 10-1 Mets in the top of the 8th. So everybody joining the party for the Mets tonight. Nice to see.
Mets did one of these.
Sure did. And it's also going to make for a happy flight.
That's what I like to see from Lindor. Level swing, not trying to swing for the fences. If he does more of that left-handed, he'd be so much of a better hitter. Matthew, you missed everything. The Mets are up by 9.
5 straight one-run victories. But their offense really struggled the last 2 nights. They have broken out in a big way tonight.
I guess the pitching coach here just kind of told Rucker, hey, you got to close this out.
Talking about him bringing the message from David Ross. There's no fail-safe.
You got to get out of this on your own. I got a text. Yo, he's affronted. The tenderfoot.
Well, you know, some of us can talk about these 9 innings and some of us can't. Francisco Lindor with the base hit to drop it a run, and now McNeil who's 3 for 3, and he yanks one down. He took out Alonso on the on-deck side.
Hector, what type of renovations, though? What's wrong with the ballpark? I think it's a nice ballpark. Come on, Jeff.
Joe said. He says Brian's good.
Good.
That's up and in. That's 3-1, and it's really not coming easily for Walker in his third inning of relief.
And that's a shot to center, and that is 2 outs. McNeil hit that ball hard, but a nice catch by Talkman in left center.
Terrific hitting by McNeil in this game.
Every ball he hit hard today. Here's the first hit, ball down and away. Second hit, belts high and away. That was up the middle, and then letter high and going the opposite way.
And the swing looked the same on all three.
All right, Pete Alonso's up again. Can he hit another one? Make it 20 on the season.
As Pete Alonso has been on base all 4 times, even as his first stolen base of the year. And an opposite field 2-run homer his last time up is 19th. So we're twice in this series.
Joe, honestly, I think they're going to wait until the end of the season. Honestly, I don't see, again, doing it now or during the offseason really doesn't matter, to be honest with you. He's gonna get it done. I'm not worried about it. Jay, maybe. I mean, it should have woke him up yesterday, but I'll take this win today. Or I'll take the possible win because you never know. Come on, Pete.
Eventually, he's tied his own club record for most hits before June 1st. Base right at 60. He takes that sign out of the strike zone. It's 3-1.
9. So he's got 10
LRF, you got ejected again. I mean, now it's just for show now. And he walks Pete Alonso.
Alonso on base for the 5th straight time. High-speed hitting tonight brought to you by Spectrum One. We're at 80 sack fly that brought in the first run of the game, the hardest hit ball of the night. Really?
Brett Beatty hit a ball 108.3 miles an hour, and that was a sack fly. All right, so there'll be a pitch and change with 2 outs in the 8th. Mets lead 10-1. Got 13 hits on a day. Everybody joined the party today. Where was I? I was in Playwright Irish Pub in the city. It was an event that was run by the 7 Line that Darren had a deal with the owner that all the games, mostly road games, were shown at the bar exclusively. And it was like a ton of Met fans there. We basically shut down the street. We were jumping on the sanitation trucks that were trying to get through. I mean, it was a party. I was actually on New York 1 that time. I think it was tied with the Phillies 5-5 the last time I checked. Let's see what the Braves, because they're playing the Phillies right now. Let's see. So the Braves are winning now. They're winning 8-5. I agree. Well, Mets fan, don't tell Philly fans that. I tell you that. Again, for all the slack and all the nonsense, the Phillies are playing exactly how they did last year. They played 2 good series in the playoffs. Like after that, like they didn't have a good year last year. Like, they got Turner and they thought they got better, and they made bullpen moves, and they're just as bad. So yeah, I should do that, Joe. I should do that like in the fifth inning, like when half the game is over, right? Yeah, Joe, I can do. I can't do that every commercial because there's always talking points, people asking questions. But like in the fifth inning of every Mets game during a commercial, I'll do a game, out of town scoreboard for game day.
Thoughts all about
All right, so Brett Beatty's up with 2 outs.
You knew that? No, you didn't.
I don't expect anything from the
You know
Phillies.
what people-
Just because you had a good run last year doesn't mean you still didn't win 87 games. You're not automatically a great team because you went on a run of the playoffs when you played like crap the whole year.
Oh gosh, Beatty takes the fastball away. Beatty drove in the first 2 Mets runs today with a sac fly and a single. Javier Assad, Mexican right-hander, trying to clean up this 8th inning. Slays back into the screen, 2-2. Like a Rucker with 2 2/3 in relief, allowed 7 hits. 5 runs so far. Be good for his ERA. 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, a home run.
We need 10 outs here. So get out of this cold.
2-2 coming to Beatty. That's on the inside.
And strike 3. Mets get a couple of more runs. 10-1 Mets going to the bottom of the 8th. Well, Hector, unfortunately, I've tried that before. For some reason, it doesn't work properly. It skips over games, and I still can't figure that one out. I tried it before, and it rolled. For some reason, it doesn't pick up the scroll of the MLB website, and it skips over like 3 or 4 games. And it'll show like 3 or 4 games, but it won't show like the other like 7 or 8. Oh, I think that's for me personally, I couldn't stand Rocker. See, I didn't. The problem with Utley and why I didn't like him is like he freaking made his teams win. Rocker was, he was just a ass in general in person. Harper is not a winner. Like, I'm sorry, he's a guy that doesn't make his team around them better. He's not a winner. I'm sorry. There's no coincidence that Harper left the Nationals for the Phillies, and the next year the Nationals win the World Series. You can't make that up. You know what I'm saying? Like, Utley, yeah, it was a dirty slide, obviously, by Tejada, but he's a winner. Right? There's no doubt. If he was on our team, we'd love him. Joe, I think they're going to challenge the 62 Mets with that many losses. But Mets got 6 outs to go to get a W and get 1 game over 500 and head to Colorado. And I ain't gonna lie, I loved going to Colorado last year. That was a lot of fun. Colorado's a nice place to watch a ball game. Even though it was the weirdest weather I ever seen in my life, when I flew into a snowstorm. The day before I flew to Colorado, it was 90 degrees. I flew into a snowstorm. And then the next day, it was like 30 degrees. And then it was 75 degrees. Who knows? Yeah, but you know what? Soto actually won for the Nationals without Harper. All right, so we're going to the bottom of the 8th, 10-1 Mets.
The 8th, Edwin Rios.
And
pitching for the Cubs, and he takes
Tommy Hunter is in the ball game for the Mets.
Tommy's numbers. He has not pitched in quite some time.
Honestly,
Rios, it's
and that's 1 out right there.
It's grabbed
I didn't get sick, but I mean, it was just weird weather. Luckily I packed for cold and not really warm. Even though when I saw the weather the day before I flew, I was like, wow. I had mostly jeans and sweatpants and a hoodie and a jacket, and not many. I had one pair of shorts, luckily, because it got hot that last game of the series, and I was like, damn. Luckily I did, because it would have been a tough way to go with winter gear to a 75-degree day.
Bases full to end that bottom of the third. The Mets up 4-1. Mets have only increased their lead since then. Suzuki takes a strike at 4-1. Carrasco in 6 2/3 allowed a run on 5 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, a home run.
Joe, I never understood it either. I just know I always did it when I played, so I don't know.
2 runs off his ERA with his performance tonight.
The Yankees
Got
lose.
flat allowed in the 7th. And now Hunter working the 8th and might be asked to pitch the 9th as well. Suzuki hits one past the mound, charging his
Should be.
Lindor.
Oh, wow. That ball hit the lip of the grass.
The bomb made a sure thing, and they will score the infield hit for Suzuki, his second of the night.
On the exchange, he just couldn't get the handle.
Ball's rolling around.
Yeah.
You can smell ahead, let me tell you, folks. It has a distinct odor. Can you describe it for it? Is it like an oaky Chardonnay? Or something more pungent? I mean, we've seen God. We've all seen guys.
I was waiting for you to say something, Jason, about that.
And I never believed that. I've never smelled smoke when you found it back. What is that? What a base hit smells like? Or does a base hit smell different? It's so long ago, I forgot. But it does have a distinct odor. I bet you if you smelled it, you'd remember.
Yeah, Christina, I think he just didn't get the handle on it. He had to get rid of the ball quickly. Suzuki was running hard down the line. I don't think he would have got him anyway.
Themed coat is keeping me nice and snug right now. Too hard talking. For the first times that I came to Wrigley Field, it's opened the season here in 1994. And,
LRF, what do you mean? Like the thin air and the way the ball travels?
Fairly famous game because Doc's
Yeah, Joe, I got you.
Roads and 3 home runs. Right, I remember that. I wasn't here. That's won the game.
Well, Hector, they always have Ronnie always, he does those national games as well with TBS. So I think a lot of times he stays back because of that. Well, what you don't want to do, Tommy, is walk batters. Yeah, the air is definitely thinner. Like, you could tell the ball travels. Like, when I was there, you can, pop-ups are going out.
Next day we come to the ballpark. It's 35 degrees. The wind is blowing in at 25 miles an hour.
Yeah, but you know what? Some players, like Troy Tulowitzki, he was a product of Coors Field. Arenado's not. He put up some really good numbers for St. Louis.
And I've never seen a human being colder than my partner, Bob Murphy, that day at Wrigley Field. It was, you think it's bad today. Think about this wind at 20 degrees.
Todd Helton, I think he should be. Because he had good numbers outside of Coors Field as well.
I mean, these are Sparty fans. It's 10-1 in the 8th inning, and they're freezing, and they're still here. It looks like a Wookiee. Now you have to be out of your mind to show up on a night like this.
Joe, I don't know.
I mean, come on. Change up down. It's 2-1 to Morel. Well, Morel's got his hitting streak on the line, and these people are standing by to see if he can keep it going or something. Morel's hitting all 13 13 games this year. But he's 0 for 3 tonight.
Come on, Tommy, throw strikes, damn it.
3-1.
I mean, this is a night where you might have a single malt Scotch neat. It's that cold. But normally, you would recommend it in front of a fire.
His sister taught me many, many years ago. Grounded down to
Ground
third.
ball.
Katie's got it.
And it will be just one out. Got this guy at second. First and third, 2 outs. You need it.
Football game together in November. And she and her friends bought a flask of Jack.
Yeah, Hector, but
Okay,
I don't know if you can feel the effects. You might have a little bit of a breathing issue. You might feel it, like catching your breath a little bit. But I mean, I think you notice if you go to games. And I played when I was in college. I played a couple of times in Colorado, and I was never a power hitter, and I hit 3 home runs. And I can tell you, those balls fly.
But you wish you had a raccoon coat like that. Oh, that's supposed to be a rally cap? Shoe on the head? That's very much. Matt Mervis is 0 for 2 and a walk. First and third, 2 out. And Mervis swings at that up and in cutter. And it's 1-1. Strike Mervis at 22. How he keeps that shoe on his head. If he has like a Robbie thing or something.
The question is he barefoot?
Just found it in a shoe. Hanging around in the stands of Wrigley. Oh, a little broken back, and that goes foul. Boy, that's a soft off. Yeah, it's not a night when you want to have a back broken.
Oh boy. That is serious.
Thinking that shoe could have been like 1938. Could have been just sitting here at Wrigley's all that time. First to your Honda Sports Night coming up tonight after the post game. Aaron Rodgers talks about the '86 Mets. Wonder if he mentions you, kid.
Well, that's interesting.
I mean, he's old enough to have been alive in 1986.
Of course.
What do you mean? Well, that's not that long ago. It's 37 years ago. Did you realize it was that long?
Come on, Tommy.
I mean, think about it. Think about this Mets team. Scherzer was alive. Verlander was alive. Robertson was alive. But they were kids. They were babies.
I just turned in the middle of that series 33.
Yeah,
That's a shot, but right to Marte that backed it up to the warning track. And that ends the inning for Hunter and the Mets, going to the top of the ninth. 10-1 Metropolitans. And you know what's funny? Like, I'm one of those nutcase fans that don't leave ball games. I don't care if I got work. I stay. One time, and I'll never forget it at Citi Field. I believe it was, when was it? It was like the first couple of years Citi Field opened. It was like 2012 maybe 24. It might even be 2010. Yeah, I think it was 2010. It was like the first or second year Citi Field was open. I was in the left field bleachers at Citi Field. They were playing the Phillies. This is when the Phillies was still, really good, still in the Utley years, the Howard years, the Pat Burr, all those guys. All of those guys. And I swear it was the coldest I ever felt. And I've been to cold games. Colorado was cold. I've been to Pittsburgh that was cold. I've been to many places that was cold watching baseball games. I never was more cold. And it wasn't raining either. It was just brutal. It was like 36 degrees. It was freezing. The Mets were getting their ass kicked. It was like the fourth inning, and the Mets were down by like 7 runs. And I don't remember who was pitching. I was trying to score the game. My hands were freezing. It was just a bad day. I left in the 6th inning. That was the only time I ever left the game early when I had control over when I left. Like, obviously, if I'm a kid or when I go with my dad or my parents, I go when they go, right? That was the only time I ever left early. I swear to you, from my tip of my toes to the top of my head was freezing. Never in my life did I leave a game. I could not deal with that day. Christina, that's that Florida life. I'm sorry, that's that Florida life. All right, so we're in the top of the ninth, 10-1 Mets. Christina got that Florida blood now.
Rio's now at third. Patrick Wisdom is moved to left field. So Sterling Marte bats against Barnhart. 49 miles an hour on his first pitch.
All right, so Tucker Barnhart, the catcher, is pitching for the Cubs. And that's a base hit by Marte. Hisanori Takahashi. Wow. Well, see, honestly, I'm one of those people that can deal with the cold more than I can deal with like a real deep. Oh, Vientos is getting a pinch hit opportunity. How about that? Against Barnhart. And Vientos pops up. Trade him. Can't hit Barnhart.
And Master Warney catches it. And that's the first out.
Yeah, Hector. Most of my family lives in North Carolina, and like they complain when it's like 60 degrees and they got like jackets on. So. Yeah, see me with my lovely pale white skin, it doesn't work very well with the sun. So.
I've seen Tucker Barnhart throw the ball from behind the plate to second base. He can throw a lot harder than this. He is choosing to throw. That was 39 miles an hour. 39. And Canna gets on that pitch.
Canna gets a base hit.
That was 43. I mean, I've seen.
Yeah, Stezo, I remember that because they were raised in the National Championship banner. Yeah, I was in right field at the time of the Pepsi Porch, now the Coca-Cola corner. It was cold that day. It was really cold that day for sure. We faced the Phillies that day. I remember that. But we were still tailgating. 60 years cold. Come on, Christina. Where's that New York blood in you? When the Mets played Boston, when their first official exhibition game at Citi Field, me and my dad went. We were sitting in the 300 section. It was cold that day too. That was like March though. And Alvarez pops it up.
He seems to be enjoying himself. How about he sneaks a good fastball in the first pitch? That's thrown anything over 50 yet.
And Nimmo hits one to right field, and that ends the inning for the Mets. Tucker Barnhart gave up no runs. Going to the bottom of the ninth, the Mets look to end this ball game and win and get the hell out of Chicago with a little bit of sanity. But winning one win against the Cubs, which shouldn't have happened, but you take what you can get at this point. Oh wow, Matthew, that's interesting. I ain't even gonna lie. Yeah, like years ago when I took my at the time girlfriend, now obviously ex-girlfriend, to games. I mean, what I put her through in that cold weather. I know, oh man, those were times where I didn't want to look her away because she gave me that look like. "Rrr." But yeah, it's I'm one of those people. I'm like they say, loyal to the last out. That's me, and I know some people do that as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't kill people for leaving, but I don't like people leaving when it's like if it's like a 70-degree day and the Mets are losing by like 10 runs. Like, you paid, stay. It's baseball, no matter what. You can still be pissed. You can still boo. But I get why people leave if it's too cold. I get that. Well, Hector, it shouldn't be a long flight. I mean, Chicago to Denver is probably what, less than 2 hours? Isn't it like almost, what is it, 2 hours and 40 minutes from New York to Denver, I think? All right, so here we go, guys. Bottom of the ninth. Mets lead by 9.
Changes as we go to the bottom of the ninth. Mark Vientos, who pinch hit, stays in the game at first base. Eduardo Escobar will play shortstop. And Tomas Nito in the catch.
Nito is behind the plate. Escobar playing short.
Catch the ninth inning. And just caught a strike from Tommy Hunter. Trying to finish off the final 2 innings. Patrick Wisdom, first man up against him in the ninth.
Yeah, exactly. You gain an hour as well.
Did you notice the behavior here? Escobar took a lot of ground balls and short.
Well, the Mets don't have a backup shortstop on their roster right now, so basically it's Escobar or McNeil. Maybe even Canada if they shoot Escobar.
It's got to be Escobar. If you had DRMA, there would be your guy, but one ways down.
Extending experience is short here in a lopsided game. Wisdom fouls one right. Wisdom's 0 for 3 today, 0 for 7 in the series. Hunter gave up a hit and a walk in the 8th. They'll try to finish it off. Get the Mets out of town and on plane to Denver. They open their series tomorrow night. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but Elias Diaz is
Not bad.
ripping the cover off the ball for Colorado. He came into today hitting .343.
Yeah, Matthew, I would have been mad about that. And I wonder what Met Yankee Subway Series game that was. Because I usually go to a ton of them. I wonder which one that was. And Tommy Hunter strikes him out, went out.
64th time he struck out this year. That's the first down at the bottom of the ninth.
Grant, I do think they still shut it down by the 7th inning. I don't think they changed it like some ballparks. That guy behind the plate is kind of drunk behind the plate, screaming at Tommy Hunter. Big game. Wasn't a playoff game, was it? Oh, it wasn't World Series, so I'm assuming obviously during the season. Was it like recently, or was it like? Did you say Shea Stadium, or was it Citi Field? Because it's Shea. You said. I wonder if it was the Mo Vaughn game where the Mets came back when he hit the scoreboard. Oh, Jay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I bet when Mike Piazza hit that ball to left center, he thought that ball was gone before Bernie Williams caught it. Shea 2000. So it was clearly during the Todd Zeal, Timo Perez years. Yeah. I remember I was young. I was like, jeez. And strike 3, 2 outs. One more out, and the Mets take the last game of the series.
One more out to get it. In Chicago. That's getting somewhat warmer, but thinner air climate in Denver, Colorado. They start their series tomorrow night with Max Scherzer on the mound. We're going to be on Pix 11 tomorrow, Are we? Yeah. 1:34 pitch Eastern time. Can't say about anything after that.
I remember. I was at that game too, Jason. That was fun. That was fun. That was when Piazza hit it down the left field line, right, to put the Mets ahead. That was the game, right? I've been to so many games. My God. Ground ball should end the inning, and the ball game is over. Put it in the books. And the New York Mets take the final game of the series against the Cubs, 10-1. And more importantly, I hit my parlay. Free bet, $150. Can't complain, right? Mets get the job done. They needed this win, and they got it. And it was a laugher. Pete Alonso with another home run, 19 on the season. Everybody joined the party today. Even Vogelback got a hit. Go figure. Beatty with a couple of RBIs. Nimmo with a couple of RBIs. Marte with a couple of RBIs. Very, very important for the Mets to get this win. Hopefully the offense is clicking at least a little bit better going into the thin air of Colorado and get a little payback after the Rockies took 2 out of 3 against the Mets at Citi Field. So Mets have their pitchers. Scherzer tomorrow, Verlander the next day in Game 2, and then Tyler McGill in Game 3. Like I said, it's not ideal, but if the Mets take 2 out of 3, a 3-3 road trip, not exactly what we were hoping for, but you'll take it considering you lost the first 2 in Chicago. So with that said, guys, the New York Mets win 10-1 against the Chicago Cubs. Carlos Carrasco, 6 2/3, 1 run from Carlos Carrasco. That's right. Not a typo. I didn't make a mistake. 6 2/3, 1 run. Exactly what we needed. And the Mets are still undefeated when a pitcher goes 6 innings or more. 13-0 for the New York Mets. With that said, guys, everybody have a great night. We got the W. I will keep you guys posted on my community page to let you know when I'm doing live streams. I will be heading down to the Jersey Shore in a couple of days, so I just wanted to make sure you guys know that. Don't think I forgot about you guys. I promise I didn't. So with that said, if I don't do another live stream until after Memorial Day weekend, everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe. Let's get some more W's for our Mets. Have a great night. Let's go, Mets. See you next time, guys. Have a good night.